Chapter 4687 looked forward. Yin Chujio gritted her teeth and waved her hand. Go. Kill them all. The sea beasts first came to vent their anger, and second, to show off in front of Yin Chujio. They took the lead and pounced ferociously. Yuanji knew that it was useless to say more, so he could only protect Lan Luochen to prevent him from losing his life. Yuanji and the others were no match for the sea beast army. Yin Chujio watched from afar and wanted to order the sea beasts to stop attacking a few times, but she still bit her lips and did not make a sound. She knew that if she softened her heart today, it was very likely that in the future, because of her softness, the people she cared about would be hurt. In the past, it was because of her softness that she let go of Zhuo Piaoyu and almost caused her grandfather to lose his life. She could not make the same mistake again. The people that Lan Luochen had brought with him died one by one. In the end, only the injured Yuanji and the unconscious Lan Luochen were left. Yin Chujio simply turned her head away and did not look at the miserable state of the two of them. However, the water suddenly shone brightly. When she regained her sight to look, there were no signs of Lan Luochen and Yuanji. They had actually used some secret technique to escape. Yin Chujio did not know what to feel. She was a little disappointed, surprised, and a little relieved. She smiled bitterly. In the end, she was still a little soft-hearted. She only hoped that Lan Luochen would not provoke her again. Otherwise, she would not be soft-hearted the next time. Yin Chujio was stunned for a moment. She threw a big basin of pills to the sea beasts and let them divide it among themselves. The sea beasts looked at the big basin of pills, and they were all dumbfounded. Oh my God, are all human pills now stored in basins? This stupid girl isn't using candy to fool them, right? Yin Chujio ignored the excited sea beasts and swam towards the direction of the flying flower island. She wasn't in a good mood. If she had known that the situation would be like this, she would have rather not know Lan Luochen back then, so as to avoid bringing about these troublesome matters. She then thought of what Yuanji had said about Lan Luochen giving up his position as the young master of the Lan family for her. Could it be that the Lan family was the power behind the 9 pavilions? The 9 pavilions were related to the Divine Devil Hall. Was the Lan family also related to the Divine Devil Hall? Were they cooperating with each other? Or were they dependent on each other? Or was the Lan family just a part of the Divine Devil Hall? Yin Chujio thought for a long time, but could not come up with a conclusion. She could only muster up her spirit and float to the surface. However, she was surprised to find that the tide had receded and the sea had returned to its usual calm. Even if it was raining continuously, there would eventually be a time when the rain would clear up. Instead of letting bad things affect her mood, she might as well think about happy things. This fellow thought of the box that Lan Luochen had snatched away and burst out laughing. Once again, he had perfectly shifted the blame. She could imagine that Lan Luochen would be so angry that he would vomit blood again when he saw that there was only a broken stone in the box that he had spent so much effort to snatch. While He Xinjie was thinking, she heard someone shouting in the distance, Junior Sister Yin, is it really you? That's great. Yin Chujio looked up and saw a big ship in the distance. Chu Feng, Master Ouyang, and the others were all on it. They were probably looking for her. She smiled. For the sake of these people who cared about her, she had to look at money happily. I'll look forward. Chapter 4688 Chu Feng, and the others were stunned when they saw Yin Chujio's bright smile. All this time, due to Yin Chujio's jumping off, they had subconsciously neglected her appearance. At this moment, the girl with the bright smile in the blue sea was so beautiful that they couldn't open their eyes. He Xinjie didn't know that the others were mesmerized by her beauty. She quickly swam to the side of the big ship and jumped onto the deck. Master Ouyang came back to his senses and asked, "Where's Tower Master Luochen? How did you escape?" He Xinjie giggled. "We encountered a large group of high-level sea beasts. They couldn't take care of themselves, so I took advantage of the chaos to escape." Naturally, everyone didn't believe her words. However, it was good that they could return safely. Moreover, when the 10,000 feet tide subsided, Master Ouyang and the others had received the news from their respective sections. They were all burning with anxiety. Therefore, they had come out on the big ship this time to find out Yin Chujia's whereabouts, and also to leave the Flying Flower Island and return to their respective sections. Yin Chujio used a spell to dry the water on her hair and said, "If you go back like this, you'll be like meat buns beating dogs. It's better not to go back." Master Ouyang and the others. Master Ouyang glared at her. "Don't spout nonsense. Master, what I said is true. Think about it. Now that the Divine Devil Hall has surrounded the 3 sects on the island, if you guys go back like this, wouldn't you be walking into a trap?" Yin Chujio pouted. Sect Master Huang of Xuanji sect nodded. Although this little girl's words are not pleasant to hear, they make sense. If we go back like this, not only will it be useless, we might even fall into a passive situation. Little girl, do you have any good ideas? Yin Chujio looked at Sect Master Huang in admiration. This old man had good taste. I think it's better this way. Island Master Qi will bring the people of Flying Flower Island to follow us to Ascension Island. If we work together from the inside, we will definitely be able to wipe out the people of the Divine Devil Hall in one fell swoop. After that, we will head to the nearest nameless sword sect, then to Xuanji sect and Xuanwu sect. Finally, we will wipe out 9 pavilions in one fell swoop. This crisis will be resolved. In addition, the Soaring Flower Island suffered heavy losses this time, and Island Master Qi has brought some people to help the other sections. When the situation calms down, everyone will come together to support the reconstruction of the Flying Flower Island. Wouldn't that be killing 2 birds with 1 stone? Everyone felt that what Yin Chujio said made a lot of sense, especially since Island Master Qi now found He Xinjiu pleasing to the eye. He had just suffered heavy losses this time, and he didn't expect He Xinjiu to give him such a good idea now. This wasn't a problem that He Xinjiu had to worry about. This fellow had only slept well these few days and was very tired. He immediately went into the cabin to catch up on his sleep. He Xinjiu was woken up by everyone's exclamation. She opened her eyes in a daze and saw Xiaoyu rushing in. "Xiaojiu, it's bad. Our ship is surrounded by a large group of high-level sea beasts." Yin Chujio was stunned for a moment before a thought flashed through her mind. Could it be that those idiots were looking for her? Xiaoyu saw Yin Chujio in a daze and said anxiously, "Don't be in a daze. If they attack the ship in a while, we can only jump into the sea." Yin Chujio glanced at Xiaoyu and faintly said, That, they are most likely here to play with me." Chapter 4689. Blood Pearl. Xiaoyu looked at Yin Chujio, as if she was looking at an idiot. "Xiaoyu, are you still asleep? Are you talking nonsense? All right, quickly follow me to the deck." Yin Chujio did not explain, and followed Xiaoyu to the deck. She saw Master Ouyang and the others with worried expressions, as they looked at the high-level sea beasts gathering around them. Sect Master Huang of Xuanji sect said in surprise, "Could it be that Tower Master Luochen did something before he left? Otherwise, why would these sea beasts attack us?" Former Xiaojia said that these sea beasts also attacked the people of the 9 pavilions, right? I guess they have a grudge against humans. After all, sea beasts are very cruel by nature. Sect Master Chen of Xuanwu sect guessed. Master Ouyang sighed. No matter what the reason is, there are so many sea beasts. Even if we can escape, we will suffer heavy losses. He Xinjiu blinked and said weakly, "Well, these sea beasts are not attacking us. I guess they are here to play with me." Everyone. Master Ouyang was so angry that he almost slapped her to death. What kind of situation was this? She was still spouting nonsense here, and she was still here to play with her. Did she think that those sea beasts had nothing better to do? Besides, they wouldn't play with her no matter how idle they were. At this moment, those sea beasts saw He Xinjia's figure and immediately roared. Although Master Ouyang and the others didn't understand what the sea beasts were saying, He Xinjiu did. "Are you just going to leave irresponsibly like this? You should at least cancel our contract first, right?" "That's right, you irresponsible woman. Hurry up and cancel our contract." "Yes, if you don't cancel the contract, we will follow you all the time and annoy you to death." Hei Xinjiu curled her lips, thinking that she was not a fool. If she cancelled the contract with them now, the sea beasts would definitely take revenge on her. She said to Master Ouyang, "Master, I will go down and play with them for a while." Before Master Ouyang could say anything, Hei Xinjiu jumped off the deck and disappeared into the sea. Master Ouyang was both angry and anxious. Wasn't she courting death? There were so many sea beasts around. They would definitely eat her until not even her bones were left. Almost at the same time, Master Ouyang found that the sea beasts had also dived into the water. His heart sank. It's over, it's over. His precious disciple had finally succeeded in courting death. Master Ouyang was about to jump into the sea to save Yin Chujiu, but he was stopped by Sect Master Huang. Master Ouyang calmed down and thought about it. It made sense. This disciple of his was greedy and afraid of death. He wouldn't jump into the sea to die for no reason. At this moment, everyone cried out in surprise. Not far away, a huge bloodthirsty whale emerged from the water. On its back sat a smiling little girl. Who else could it be but Yin Chujiu? This guy was holding a huge pearl in his hand and shining it at the sun. That is a rare blood pearl. It is said that only one blood pearl is produced out of 10,000 huge clams. Moreover, this blood pearl is so big. It is simply a priceless treasure. Island Master Qi said enviously. He, as the island master of the Flying Flower Island, had never seen such a big blood pearl. How could this little girl get one so easily? Chapter 4690, Because I'm Good-Looking Master Ouyang, and the others didn't say anything, because they felt that Island Master Qi's main point was wrong, okay? Now they should focus on why that little girl didn't die, and why that bloodthirsty whale was actually willing to carry her. Also, the other sea beasts were following behind the bloodthirsty whale. From the looks of it, it seemed that the little girl was the leader. Hei Xinjiu raised the bead in her hand and looked at it. She nodded in satisfaction, and put it into her storage ring. Then, she took out a blue seaweed and sniffed it. Island Master Qi exclaimed again. That is a heaven-grade herb, the sinking dragon jade belt grass. It is said that it only grows near the deep-sea whirlpool. Where did she get it from? While Island Master Qi was exclaiming in surprise, he saw Hei Xinjiu rubbing the sinking dragon jade belt grass and eating it. Island Master Qi stomped his feet anxiously. What a sin! What a sin! She is wasting a precious herb. How could she eat such a rare herb just like that? Just as he was lamenting, he saw Hei Xinjiu taking out another seaweed with small white flowers and eating it. Island Master Qi's head was buzzing as he said with a trembling voice, That's a heaven-grade herb with a fragrant white jade. It's such a waste to eat it just like that. It's such a waste. If Island Master Qi did not have a shred of rationality left in him, he would have jumped off the deck to fight Yin Chujiu with his life. Next, when Island Master Qi saw Yin Chujiu taking out a rare or photo and a precious herb to eat, he felt that either his eyes were playing tricks on him, or he was hallucinating. As the sea beasts had willingly offered too many tributes, Hei Xinjiu was no longer interested in them. She lay on top of the bloodthirsty whale and basked in the sun. The giant red-scaled eel asked carefully, We have already given you our precious items. Can you help us cancel the contract now? Yin Chujiu crossed her legs and said with a smile, Don't worry. I'm a man of my word. When we reach the shallow sea area, I will cancel your contract. However, you have to perform well. Otherwise, I might turn the temporary contract into a permanent contract. The sea beasts were so aggrieved that they almost vomited blood. However, they could not do anything to Hei Xinjiu. They could only follow behind her while feeling wronged. From time to time, they would change their formation for her to see because of Hei Xinjiu's bad taste. Fortunately, Hei Xinjiu was very generous. Occasionally, she would dive into the sea and throw pots of elixirs to them, so they had no choice but to comply. Master Ouyang and the others went from being dumbstruck at the beginning to becoming numb in the end. Island Master Qi thickened his skin and asked Hei Xinjiu, Little Jiu, why do they listen to you so much? Yin Chujiu said with a smile, Because I'm good-looking. In the past, He might have had thoughts of killing Yin Chujio to steal her treasures, but things were different now. Yin Chujio had already become the successor disciple of Master Ouyang, and she might be the future sect master of the Nameless Sword sect. He naturally didn't dare to do anything. Moreover, it was thanks to Yin Chujio's idea of helping Xiaoyu to expose Tower Master Lichen's true colors this time. He was more or less grateful to He Xinjiu. Of course, if Island Master Qi knew that He Xinjiu had secretly tricked him several times, the gratitude in his heart would probably be fed to the dogs. Chapter 4691 Killing and Seizing Treasures 2 days later, everyone arrived at the shallow sea area. He Xinjiu kept her word and immediately cancelled the temporary contract with the sea beasts. When the sea beasts saw He Xinjiu wave her claws and leave without taking a cloud, they felt a little disappointed. What a heartless woman! Everyone followed the plan they had discussed earlier and rushed to the Sea of Broken Stars where Ascension Island was located. However, they did not expect to encounter the ships of the Divine Devil Hall midway. It turned out that there was a spy of the Divine Devil Hall on Ascension Island who took advantage of the people's uncertainty to help the Divine Devil Hall obtain the bead. When they were evacuating, they met with Master Ouyang and the others. He Xinjiu rolled her eyes. She was worried that she did not have a way to obtain the bead of Ascension Island, but she did not expect it to come to her. Her gaze immediately fell on the person in the lead. The pearl must be on him. She had to think of a way to lure this person to a place where there was no one, and then kill him and steal the treasure. The two sides soon started a chaotic battle. Not only did Master Ouyang bring the elites of the Flying Flower Island, but Master Ouyang and the others also had extraordinary strength. The leader knew that he wasn't a match for them, so he took advantage of the chaos and fled towards the deep sea. He had a water-repellent bead on him. He felt that as long as he could drag it out a little longer, he would be able to escape from the pursuit. Although Island Master Qi had a water-repellent bead, he was severely injured previously, so he did not participate in the battle. Island Master Luo of Ascension Island chased after him for a while, but because he did not have a water-repellent bead, he had to give up. What he did not know was that after He Xinjiu, who was hiding behind a patch of seaweed, saw that he had left, she rode Little Bastard and quickly chased after that person from the Divine Devil Hall. Previously, the Little Bastard had released his domineering aura in order to show off, so he had attracted many sea beasts to chase after him. This time, he had learned his lesson and restrained his divine beast aura, so he did not attract any trouble. The person from the Divine Devil Hall originally thought that he had already escaped to heaven, but when he turned his head, he saw He Xinjiu riding on the Little Bastard. He Xinjiu was too famous, so this man had seen Yin Chujio's portrait. He was delighted. He did not expect Yin Chujio to come to him voluntarily. It was time for him to make a contribution. Therefore, he did not continue to swim forward. Instead, he waited for He Xinjiu with a hideous smile. Yin Chujio, I think you have lost your mind. You actually came to seek your own death. Yin Chujio said with a smile. To die? I'm here to take your life. Dehua, 10,000-year-old single pig attack. That person was a little confused. What a mess. Just as he was in a state of confusion, Dehua, who had turned black, pounced towards him. That person was shocked and quickly dodged to the side. Several sharp water arrows shot over again. He turned his head and saw that the Little Bastard's body had become several times larger. It was staring at him with its round eyes. The man regretted it. If he had known that Yin Chujio was so abnormal, he would not have stopped just now. He should have run away quickly. However, it was too late. After a moment, that person had turned into a dead body. He Xinjiu hurriedly opened that person's storage ring and found a bead inside. Before she could take a closer look, the black bead jumped up. Yin Chujio could only feed the bead to the black bead. Chapter 4692 Sea of Water Mirror. Yin Chujio looked at the corpse of the person from the Divine Devil Temple and thought of Qi Ying, who was in the spiritual beast bag. She rolled her eyes and thought that this body might be useful in the future. Therefore, She put the corpse into her storage ring and returned to the battlefield. At this time, the battlefield was nearing its end. All the people from the Divine Devil Temple, except for the leader, were annihilated. Although everyone was frustrated that they hadn't been able to capture the leader, there was nothing they could do. They first arrived at Ascension Island to settle the aftermath, before rushing to the Nameless Sword Sect. To everyone's surprise, when they arrived at the Nameless Sword Sect, the Divine Devil Hall troops that had surrounded the Nameless Sword Sect had already retreated. It wasn't just the Nameless Sword Sect. The people who had surrounded the Xuanwu Sect and Xuanji Sect had also retreated. However, the beads of the two sects had already been taken away by the people of the Divine Devil Hall. The process was the same as Ascension Island. Both were stolen by spies. In fact, if He Xinjiu hadn't accidentally exposed Wan Qingbao's matter, the Nameless Sword Sect's beads would have been lost long ago. After an urgent discussion, Master Ouyang and the others decided to go to the 9 pavilions to settle the score. However, when they arrived at the 9 pavilions, they realized that the building was empty. The huge 9 pavilions were already empty. Although they didn't understand, there was nothing they could do. However, they still had many things to do. For example, they had to search for the remnants of the 9 pavilions and the Divine Devil Hall. For example, they had to redivide their territory and help with the reconstruction of the Flying Flower Island. Of course, He Xinjiu didn't care about these things. What bothered her the most was that the Divine Devil Hall had gotten their hands on the pearls from the Xuanwu Sect and Xuanji Sect. How was she going to explain this to He Zhu? Fortunately, He Zhu had swallowed 2 pearls not too long ago, so she did not do anything evil for the time being. He Xinjiu thought about it and decided to find a suitable nest for the group of giant winged birds in the spirit beast bag. Otherwise, she would not be able to feed these birds. As Chu Feng had stayed on the Flying Flower Island, and Zhao Hui and the others were inner sect disciples who had gone on a sect mission, He Xinjiu had to leave the Nameless Sword Sect alone. Master Ouyang had been very busy recently, so he had no time to take care of her. When he found out that this fellow had left the Nameless Sword Sect alone, he was furious. This little girl was getting bolder and bolder. Wasn't she afraid of encountering the remnants of the Divine Devil Hall, or the 9 pavilions? He immediately sent a voice transmission talisman to He Xinjiu, telling her to scram back. However, the voice transmission talisman did not succeed. Master Ouyang's heart immediately jumped to his throat. Did his precious disciple seek his own death? Master Ouyang quickly sent people to look for He Xinjiu. The other sects also sent people to look for He Xinjiu, after receiving Master Ouyang's request for help. On the other side, after He Xinjiu left the Nameless Sword Sect, she looked at the map for a long time. In the end, she felt that the Sea of Water Mirror, which was hundreds of thousands of miles away from the Nameless Sword Sect, was very suitable. Not only was the Sea of Water Mirrors not prohibited from flying, but it was also rich in products. Most importantly, there was a tall cliff that was suitable for shadow-skimming giant winged birds to build their nests. When those shadow-skimming giant winged birds heard that He Xinjiu was finally going to help them find a place to build their nests, they were so excited that they were about to cry. They thought that they would only be able to live in the spirit beast pouch for the rest of their lives. He Xinjiu sat on the flying spirit tool and wandered for a few days before she finally arrived at the Sea of Water Mirrors. Looking down through the porthole, she saw that the blue sea was as smooth as a mirror, and it was extremely beautiful. He Xinjiu nodded her head in satisfaction. It seemed that she had chosen the right place. Chapter 4693. Heaven's End. Cliff Yun Chujiu had originally planned to fly directly to the cliff and release her life, but when this fellow caught a glimpse of an island filled with yellow fruits in mid-air, he immediately changed his mind. After this fellow landed on the island, he saw that the tall trees on the island were filled with golden fruits. It was simply tempting. However, this fellow rolled his eyes. According to common sense, there were so many fruits here that they should have been plucked long ago. After all, this place was not particularly far from the coast, unless there was something powerful on this island, or the fruit was poisonous. No matter which one it was, it could not stop He Xinjia's gluttonous heart. She plucked a fruit and finished it in no time. It was soft, sweet, and very delicious, but it was extremely poisonous. This guy plucked another fruit. Just as he was about to eat it, he heard someone shouting in the distance, "Little girl, don't eat it. That fruit is poisonous." Yin Chujio had seen a fishing boat on the sea earlier. She turned around and saw a fishing boat not far from the island. It was the person on the fishing boat who spoke. Yin Chujio took the fruit and walked to the beach. She shouted at the man, "Thank you, uncle. I picked these fruits to be used as medicine. Why don't you help me pick these fruits? I'll pay you for it. How about that?" The fishermen on the boat were naturally very happy when they heard that. There was no risk in picking the fruits. It was much better than fishing. In the end, both sides agreed on a price. The fishermen helped He Xinjio pick the fruits after they came to the island. He Xinjio watched them pick the fruits and chatted with them. "Uncle, are you the fisherman from around here?" "Yes. We live by the sea. We don't have any other skills. We live by hunting fish, prawns, and sea beasts." The middle-aged man in the lead said, "I think the sea of the mirror is calm, and it is not forbidden to fly. The harvest should be good, right?" The middle-aged man smiled bitterly. It was good at first. But a month ago, a lot of people came to occupy the Heaven's End cliff in the deep sea, and they strictly forbade us from getting close to it. Even the people within 100 miles are not allowed to get close to it. In this way, we can only hunt some worthless goods in the shallow sea. We can only hope that those people will leave as soon as possible. He Xinjia's heart skipped a beat, and she asked, "Who are they? Why are they occupying the Heaven's End cliff all of a sudden?" "Who knows? They all went there by flying spiritual artifacts. When they banished us, they were all so fierce that we didn't dare to provoke them." The middle-aged man shook his head and sighed. Yin Chujio thought to herself, a month ago, there was still a large group of people. Could it be those scumbags from the Divine Devil Hall? The more she thought about it, the more she felt that the possibility was very high. So many people from the Divine Devil Hall had disappeared in an instant. They must have hidden somewhere. Because of the thin spiritual power in the sea of water mirror, very few people would come except for some fishermen. It was not impossible for the Divine Devil Hall to choose this place to hide. Now the question was, should she find a place where she could send a sound transmission talisman to inform Master Ouyang? Or should she go and investigate first? This fellow rubbed her chin and thought for a while, but decided to go and investigate first because, first, although the sea of water mirror was not prohibited from flying, she could not use the talisman. If she wanted to send a message to Master Ouyang, she had to go back to the shore. Secondly, those people might not be from the Divine Devil Hall. If she made a mistake, it would be embarrassing. Thirdly, if those people were really from the Divine Devil Hall, this was a great opportunity for her to keep the pearl for herself. Naturally, she could not miss it. Chapter 4694. Fairy Golden Fruit. Half a day later, the fishermen had picked all the fruits on the island. Yin Chujio said with a smile, "Uncle, I'm very curious about fishing. Can I take your fishing boat out to sea to play?" Hearing that, the middle-aged man naturally agreed. Immediately, He Xinjio got on the fishing boat and followed the fishermen out to sea to fish. Although the deep-sea area had a circumference of 100 li, the water mirror sea was very large. Even in the shallow sea area, it would take 2 to 3 days to sail. Bai Li and the other fishermen were also very grateful. Yin Chujio usually chatted and laughed with the fishermen, and occasionally helped to hunt some troublesome sea beasts. The fishermen were naturally very grateful to her. However, one night, Yin Chujio disappeared without a trace. The fishermen searched for a long time, but they still couldn't find her. However, they found a lot of high-grade spirit stones and waterproof beads in the cabin where Yin Chujio lived. Someone said, "Could it be that the little girl was sent by God to be blessed? What you said makes sense. That little girl is extremely good-looking and so kind. She must be a fairy from heaven who came down to earth. After we go back, we will set up a statue for her. The fruit she asked us to pick is called golden fruit. Why don't we call her Golden Fruit Fairy from now on?" Hei Shinjio did not know that she had been mistaken for a fairy. At this moment, the guy had already swam to the bottom of the Heaven's End cliff. In order to gather information, the guy had brazenly attached himself to the bottom of a patrol ship and eavesdropped on the conversation of the people above. "Bossly, is that Tower Master Luochen still not awake?" "I think so. If he had woken up, our leader would have returned to the heavy cloud continent long ago. I heard that he planned to give the pearl in his hand to Tower Master Luochen when he wakes up." "That's true. I don't know where Leader Lu, who is in charge of Ascending Island, went. I heard that he also succeeded, but his whereabouts are unknown." Yun Chujio listened for a while longer before she silently dived into the deep sea. This fellow pondered for a moment and listened to the conversation between the two people. The two pearls from the Xuanwu sect and Xuanji sect were still in the hands of the two leaders. This was truly a heaven-sent opportunity. However, how could she get her hands on them? However, Qiying had to cooperate with her. How could Qiying cooperate with her willingly? Qiying, that idiot, was extremely loyal to that shit master of the Divine Devil Hall. If he told the truth, he would definitely not help her. He might even take the opportunity to let the Divine Devil Hall capture her. She had to think of a good idea. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and swam to a small island outside of the Heaven's End Cliffs territory. Then she let Qiying out. These days, Qiying did not even have a chance to come out for a breather. What was worse was that Xiao Hanio and the others bullied him for no reason. It was simply a life worse than death. "Yun Chujio, why did you suddenly show kindness and let me out?" Qiying asked unhappily. Yun Chujio threw Chief Lu's body on the ground. "Here, your new body. And it's even from the Divine Devil Hall. Are you satisfied now?" Qiying looked at the corpse on the ground suspiciously, then looked at Yun Chujio. "What tricks are you playing now?" Yun Chujio looked at him speechlessly. "I just found my conscience, and felt that this was a bit too much for you. Why are you addicted to being a rabbit?" Qiying naturally did not believe that Yun Chujio had a conscience, but he really did not want to be a rabbit anymore, so he immediately possessed Chief Lu's corpse. Chapter 4695. I was a little conflicted. Qiying had been a rabbit for quite some time, so he was already used to walking on four legs. When he suddenly turned back into a human, he subconsciously fell to the ground. Yun Chujio laughed so hard that she almost passed out. Qiying could not help but become angry out of embarrassment. He raised his hand and slapped Hei Shinjio. Hei Shinjio naturally would not sit still and wait for death. She easily dodged Qiying's attack. Qiying was currently possessed, so his spiritual power could not be restored to its true level. He was only on par with Yun Chujio. In addition, he was not used to walking on two legs, so he was naturally not Hei Xinjia's opponent. "Hey little shadow, are you planning to repay kindness with enmity?" Yun Chujio said as she dodged. Qiying knew that he could not beat her, but he remembered his purpose. He immediately stopped and snorted. "Who asked you to mock me? I look like this because of you. Little shadow, what you said makes sense, so I found my conscience and decided to let you go. There is a heaven-ending cliff ahead. The remaining forces of the Divine Devil Temple are gathered there. You can go and find them now," Yun Chujio said with a smile. Qiying looked in the direction where Yun Chujio pointed. He could vaguely see a towering cliff, but he did not believe that Yun Chujio would be so kind-hearted. His eyes flickered and he said, "I promise to follow you in the future. I want leave." "Littling, I didn't expect you to be so affectionate. Since you are so kind, I'll tell you the truth. You know Tower Master Luochen, right?" Hei Shinjio said sadly. Qiying frowned. He knew little about the Tower Master Luochen. "It seems that you don't know. Let me tell you. Tower Master Luochen is Lan Luochen, a member of the Lan family in the Heavy Cloud continent." "A member of the Lan family?" Qiying interrupted Yun Chujio with a cry of surprise. "Yes, alas, don't mention it. He could have become the young master of the Lan family, but he gave up because of me. Instead, he became the Tower Master Luochen of the 9 pavilions in the Towering Sky continent. Back then Hei Shinjio explained the truth and falsehood of what had happened in the past. Then she said hesitantly, Although I've hurt him this time, my heart is wavering. I feel that he treats me much better than the gigolo does. You're right. The gigolo not only always leaves me alone, but he also has a grudge against me in my previous life. The most infuriating thing is that he even has a lover. So, I'm a bit conflicted. I don't know who to choose. I feel that Tower Master Luochen should be at the Heaven's End cliff. But I haven't thought about whether I should go and see him. I don't know if he will forgive me. Yin Chujio tugged at the corner of her clothes uneasily as she said this, looking as if she was filled with the worries of a young girl. The position of the young master of the Lan family was an incredible one. That Lan Luochen even gave up his position for this smelly girl. It could be said that he was deeply in love with her. It was possible for this smelly girl to be moved. Qiying pondered in his heart. He had to facilitate this matter. In this way, Yin Chujio and Di Baiming would definitely turn against each other, and his goal would be achieved. Thinking of this, he said, I think that Lan Luochen is really much better than Di Baiming. Since he gave up his position as the young master of the Lan family for you, why would he be angry with you? As long as I see you, I will definitely be filled with joy. Why don't we head to the Heaven's End cliff together? Chapter 4696. The bottomless pit. Yin Chujio tugged at the corner of her clothes and said hesitantly, although what you said makes sense, but I haven't thought about it yet. After Yin Chujio finished speaking, she simply sat on a large rock and supported her cheeks with a conflicted look. Qiying saw the situation and quickly said, what's there to think about? The Lan family is one of the top forces in the Chongshao continent. Since Lan Luochen has the ability to fight for the young master, he must have quite a big force. Isn't it better to follow him than to follow Di Baiming and be on tenterhooks? Yin Chujio sighed. That's easy for you to say. It's not like you can just let go of a relationship. Moreover, I almost killed Lan Luochen. His subordinates hate me to death. Even if Lan Luochen can accept me, his subordinates will definitely oppose it. Qiying felt that Yin Chujio had already wavered when he heard that. However, he was afraid that Lan Luochen's subordinates would not accept her. Isn't that easy to handle? Can't you just make a contribution? You helped Lan Luochen kill Di Baiming, so those people will naturally accept you. Besides, as long as Lan Luochen can accept you, why do you care so much? Yin Chujio shook her head. You already said that the Lan family is a big family. Even if you don't consider those subordinates, the elders of the Lan family might not accept me. Forget it, you can leave. I'll go back and look for the gigolo. At least I'll be with him. There won't be so many people who oppose it. Qiying would never give up. He kept trying to persuade her. While he was talking until his mouth was dry, Yin Chujio said hesitantly, why don't I follow you to the heaven-breaking cliff to take a look? You can test his attitude before I decide whether to expose my identity. Qiying was overjoyed. Sure, of course. Then let's set off now. Unexpectedly, Yin Chujio hesitated for a moment and said, still no. Forget it, I'd better not go. Why not again? Qiying was about to go crazy from anxiety. You've been hiding in the ghost region previously, and they don't know your identity. If you go, they might not believe you. They might just kill us directly. Yin Chujio said worriedly. Qiying thought about it. Although his identity was not low, those country bumpkins might not know him. They might really kill him. He suddenly slapped his thigh. Yin Chujio, you still think you're smart. My current body is not my main body. I'll just go to the heaven-breaking cliff with this identity. Wait until you and Lan Luochen reveal your identity. Then I'll explain my identity. Qiying patted his chest. That's simple. No matter what, I am still a member of the Divine Devil Hall. When the time comes, I will just say that I am injured. This way, my voice will be a little hoarse and my spiritual power will be a little lower. Yin Chujio nodded, but she hesitated for a long time before she said, all right, I'll listen to you. I'll pretend to be one of your subordinates. Qiying only had one thought, and that was to let Yin Chujio and Lan Luochen get together. Therefore, He did not know that this was all a trap that Hei Shinjio had dug for him. Yes, a bottomless pit. Hei Shinjio swallowed a disguise pill and took out a black mask of the Divine Devil Hall from her storage ring and put it on her face. The two of them discussed for a while more before Yin Chujio summoned a ship, and the two of them sailed towards the heaven-breaking cliff. Chapter 4697. Entering the heavens in cliff, Qiying was in a good mood. He felt that there was no chance of failure. Even if he took 10,000 steps back, Yin Chujio, this wretched girl, was lying to him. The heavens in cliff was the lair of the Divine Devil Hall. Even if she had wings, she would not be able to escape. Moreover, he had already felt that although Yin Chujio did not care about what he had said about enemies and lovers, she definitely cared about it in her heart. In addition, Lan Luochen had a deep affection for her, so it was normal for her to have changed. Hei Shinjio paced up and down on the deck anxiously. Qiying was convinced by her troubled look. In fact, he did not know that Hei Shinjio was about to burst into laughter. Qiying had been tortured by her before, but now he was even more eager to get more benefits. Qiying could not be tricked to death. The two of them were soon discovered by the patrolling ships of the Divine Devil Hall. The people on top shouted, "Stop! If you continue to walk out, don't blame us for being rude." Yin Chujio snorted coldly. "How dare you? This is our Lord Lu." The people of the Divine Devil Hall were stunned when they heard that. "Lord Lu? Which Lord Lu?" Yin Chujio said impatiently. "Of course it's Lord Lu who is in charge of besieging Ascension Island. Why don't you lead the way?" "Ah, so it's Chief Lu. I'm really sorry. However, words have no basis." Before the man could finish his words, Qiying threw Chief Lu's jade token to them. When those people saw it, they immediately nodded and let him go. They even sent a guard to lead the way. Yin Chujio threw the guard who led the way 10,000 high-grade spirit stones and then said, "Almost all of our Lord Lu's men were wiped out. It's inevitable to be ostracized at the Heaven's End cliff. Tell me about the situation inside." When the guard of the Divine Devil Hall saw that Yin Chujio was a woman and was led by Chief Lu, he thought that Yin Chujio was Chief Lu's lover. When he saw that she was generous, he immediately told her everything he knew. He told her what he knew. Yin Chujio soon found out what she wanted to know, and she began to think about her next plan. Qiying did not doubt Yin Chujio's actions. He thought that Yin Chujio was doing all this for Lan Luochen. After all, she had almost killed Lan Luochen before, so it was not wrong for her to be careful. Soon the ship arrived at the bottom of the Heaven's End cliff. The people of the Divine Devil Hall had dug a huge cave on the Heaven's End cliff. They had also dug a few small caves in the cave for the time being. The guard accompanied Yin Chujio and Qiying through the sentry post and entered the cave. The guard immediately saluted respectfully. "Chief Qin, Chief Lu is back." Chief Qin waved his hand at the guard, and the guard tactfully left. Chief Qin brought Qiying and Yin Chujio into a cave, and then asked with a frown, "Brother Lu, are you injured?" Qiying said with a hoarse voice, "Originally, I had successfully brought my brothers with me. I didn't expect to meet those people from the Flying Flower Island on the sea. After a bitter battle, only she and I survived. Fortunately, the bead is still in my hands. Otherwise, the gains would not be worth the losses." Chief Qin nodded. "It's good that we have the bead. It's much better than me getting nothing for nothing. Liao Zhong and Liang Xian have been mocking me. Now that you're back, let's work together to teach them a lesson." Chapter 4698. A person who played two roles. A trace of disapproval flashed across Qiying's eyes. They were both serving the Lord. How could they fight fiercely in private? However, he was afraid that he would be exposed, so he could only laugh and say, "Of course, but my injuries haven't fully recovered yet, so let's not be impatient for now. I wonder where Tower Master Luochen lives? Oh, go and meet him." Qiying did not forget his purpose. He had to think of a way to see Lan Luochen, test his intentions, and then let Yin Chujio reveal her identity. Chief Qin frowned. Brother Lu, you don't know? Tower Master Luochen is seriously injured and still in a coma. Otherwise, we would have already returned to the Heavy Cloud continent to report our mission. So why would we still be in this godforsaken place? Qing was stunned. Still in a coma? Yin Chujio, that wretched girl, was really ruthless. However, he still asked despite knowing the answer. Seriously injured? What happened? Chief Qin shook his head. I don't know exactly what happened. It's just that Yuan Ji beside him sent a message for us to gather here. So we all came over. I think this matter has something to do with Yin Chujio. Tower Master Luochen is good in every way, but he is obsessed with that bitch. I think he will completely wake up after this. I don't think so. Tower Master Luochen even gave up being the young master of the Lan family for Yin Chujio. How could he give up so easily? Qiang said disapprovingly. Speaking of the Lan family, even if Yin Chujio changes her mind, the Lan family will not accept her even if her status is low. At most, she will only be a concubine. Leader Qin sneered. Qiang became anxious when he heard that. He raised his voice. What you said is wrong. Yin Chujio's status may not be low. I think the Lan family will agree. Leader Qin looked at Qiang in surprise. Brother Lu, from your tone, why do you seem to be speaking on behalf of Yin Chujio? Qiang's heart skipped a beat, and he quickly added, I'm not speaking to her. I'm analyzing the facts. That Lan Luochen has already been obsessed with Yin Chujio. Even if the Lan family doesn't agree, he will think of a way to persuade her. Chief Qin nodded. You're right. I don't know what kind of bewitching potion Yin Chujio has put on Lan Luochen to insist on protecting her. If it weren't for him, we would have killed Yin Chujio several times already. However, the Lan family is still useful, so we can't offend him too much. Yin Chujio stood by the side with her hands down, but her heart wasn't calm. Chief Qin in front of her was Wan Qingba. To be precise, he wasn't Wan Qingba. The Wan brothers were probably killed by the Divine Devil Hall. Then, Chief Qin used Wan Qingba's identity to sneak into the Nameless Sword sect. Furthermore, according to what he said, Lan Luochen had once saved her when she did not know? Just as Yin Chujio was feeling a little conflicted, Qiang took his leave on the grounds that he was tired. Yin Chujio was afraid that Leader Qin would eavesdrop, so she shamelessly played two roles. Aya, you damned ghost, you're still taking advantage of me after suffering such serious injuries? Beauty, we finally arrived at a safe place, so of course we have to be intimate. Come, let me have a fragrance. Annoying. Qiang had an expression, as if he had been struck by lightning. Heavens, this damned girl's skin was too thick. Could that Lan Luochen be blind? Chapter 4699. Joining hands. Hei Xinjia was very good at acting. After performing a shameless act, she said, Sir, I think Leader Qin is a good man. The other two didn't come to greet you. I don't believe that they don't know that you're back. Qiang was dumbfounded. He heard Yin Chujio reply in his hoarse voice. Brother Qin is naturally a good man. It's just that he didn't get the pearls due to bad luck. I am seriously injured now. Why don't I help Brother Qin snatch the bead from those two people? The credit will go to us brothers. As for those two people, just kill them. Qiang was about to speak. Yin Chujio said in a sharp voice, Sir, if you can't do it in the open, then do it in the dark. Why don't you discuss with Leader Qin tomorrow to make those two people? I happen to have a unique poison here. They will definitely not notice. In this way, if Chief Qin gets the bead, you can also take over their power. Otherwise, if you are alone, you will definitely be ostracized in the future. Let me think about it. Brother Qin might not agree. Chief Qin's eyes lit up as he leaned against the cave wall to eavesdrop. Yes, Lu did not have any subordinates now, so he was naturally anxious to expand his power. Why not join forces with him to kill Liao Zhong and Liang Xian? While he was feeling emotional, Qiang was so angry that he was about to faint. Fortunately, he had not lost his mind and shouted loudly. He said in an extremely low voice, Yin Chujio, what are you doing? Yin Chujio showed a wronged expression. I heard from Chief Qin that your divine devil Hall and the Lan family should be in a cooperative relationship. The more beads Lan Luochen gets, the better it will be for him. I almost caused him to lose his life previously, so I will think of a way to give him the beads of those two people. He will definitely forgive me. Qiying felt that something was not right, but he was eager to make a contribution, so he subconsciously threw that suspicion to the back of his mind. He asked in a low voice, "What do you want to do?" That leader Qin heard what I said just now. He might say something to test you tomorrow. You just make it clear, and then he will naturally come up with a plan to deal with those two people. You just have to agree. Yin Chuzhou blinked her eyes and said. Qiying had no other choice now, so he could only nod his head and agree. Sure enough, the next morning, Leader Qin came to visit. After several tests, he said, "Brother Lu, since you have the intention, and I also have the intention, how about this? I will hold a banquet for you tonight, and call those two people over. When the time comes, we will poison the wine and kill them." Qiying nodded. "All right, it's a deal." That night, Leader Qin invited Liao Zhong, Liang Xian, and Qiying to his cave to hold a banquet. In addition to He Xinjiu, he also invited 3 beautiful women to accompany him. Liao Zhong and Liang Xian never dreamed that Leader Qin would have the guts to poison the wine. Therefore, they were caught off guard. By the time they realized it, it was already too late. The 3 beautiful women were all Leader Qin's men, so they immediately joined forces to kill Liao Zhong and Liang Xian. Leader Qin had set up an isolation formation in the cave, and Leader Qin had his men seal off a few nearby caves, so no one knew what was happening here. Leader Qin saw that Liao Zhong and Liang Xian were dead, so he couldn't help but laugh out loud. "You two have such a day? It's karma. Brother Lu, it's all thanks to you this time. In order to repay you, I'll leave you with a whole corpse, so you can kill yourself." Chapter 4700. You tricked me. Qiying was bewildered. "Brother Qin, what do you mean by this? What do you mean? If you don't do it for yourself, the heavens will punish you. Do you really think that I will split the pearls and forces equally with you? You are too naive. As long as you die, I will have 3 pearls and all the people here will belong to me. Don't worry, after you die, I will take good care of you, my lover." Chief Qin said with a lewd and evil smile as he looked at He Xinjiu. Qiying looked at Chief Qin angrily. You, how can the divine devil Hall have a scum like you?" Chief Qin was amused by his words. "Lu, are you crazy? What do you mean by a scum like me? How much more noble are you than me? Wasn't it your idea to kill the 2 of them? It seems that you don't know what's good for you. Go kill him." The 3 beautiful women revealed a cold smile and immediately attacked Qiying. He Xinjiu was about to step forward to help, but Chief Qin stretched out his arm to stop her. "Beauty, follow me from now on. I won't mistreat you." Yin Chuzhou revealed a pitiful look. "Is what you said true? You want kill me?" "Of course I won't kill you. I'll treat you well." Leader Qin smiled with malicious intent. Then I'll listen to you. I'll be your concubine from now on," He Xinjiu said obediently. Qiying, who was trapped on the other side, almost died from anger. That stinky girl didn't come to help, and she actually wanted to be that Qin's concubine? At this moment, Yin Chuzhou raised her hand, and a bag of powder flew in all directions. This powder happened to be mixed with the antidote that Chief Qin and the others had taken beforehand to form a lethal poison. Chief Qin and the 3 women sensed that something was wrong and wanted to use their spiritual power to suppress the poison. Yin Chuzhou naturally wouldn't give them the chance. Yin Chuzhou released the dumb cuties. Chief Qin wanted to call for help, but he had activated the protective array. Even if he called for heaven-piercing, the people outside couldn't hear him. A moment later, Chief Qin and the 3 women were all dead. On the other side, Qiying also fell to the ground because of the poison. He said with difficulty, "Quick, give me the antidote." Yin Chuzhou ignored him. Instead, she put all the corpses on the ground into her storage ring. She used her spiritual sense to scan the storage rings of Liao Zhong and Liang Xian. Sure enough, She found 2 jade boxes inside, each with a bead. Yin Chujio, you, give me the antidote. Qi Ying was so angry that he was about to faint. Although he could possess the body, once the body died again, he could not possess it again. Yin Chujio squatted beside him and said with a smile, I don't need you now. You can go without worry. As Yin Chujio said that, she raised the big kitchen knife and directly chopped off the head of Chief Lu, who was possessed by Qi Ying. Qi Ying's primordial spirit immediately floated out from the corpse and said angrily, Yin Chujio, what do you mean? Yin Chujio threw a rabbit to him. You can either make a new rabbit, or I will make your soul scatter. It's your choice. Are you kidding me? Qi Ying would be a fool if he didn't understand now. Yin Chujio said with a smile, What do you think? Cut the crap. 3 numbers, 1, 2. Qi Ying immediately possessed the rabbit the moment Yin Chujio said 2. It was not like he had never made a rabbit before. What was the big deal? Chapter 47:01. You go take care of the pavilion. Master Qi Ying was furious and hateful at the same time. He was furious that he couldn't see through this darn girl's black heart, after such a long time, and actually believed her nonsense. It was simply extremely stupid. He was furious that this darn girl simply ate people, without spitting out their bones. It was too detestable. But what could he do? If he wanted revenge, if he wanted to avenge his previous humiliation, he could only endure the humiliation. Wasn't it just being a rabbit? It didn't matter. What? Yin Chujio saw that Qi Ying was so angry that he was about to faint. She pursed her lips and put him into the spirit beast pouch. She changed into the clothes of one of the women and put on a mask as she swaggered out of the cave. She said to the guards, Guard well. I'll be back soon. The guards didn't ask. After all, they didn't know that Leader Qin was going to kill people, so they let Yin Chujio leave. Yin Chujio left the sealed area and was about to turn to the passage leading to the exit when a shout came from behind. Stop! Yin Chujio looked back and found that the person who spoke was Yuan Ji. Her head buzzed. Why did Yuan Ji come here if he didn't take good care of Lan Luochen? She didn't dare to disobey and could only stop in her tracks. She respectfully lowered her hands and stood up. What are your orders? The reason why Yuan Ji was addressed as you was that he didn't know how these people usually addressed Yuan Ji. In order to avoid revealing his identity, he used a safe you. Yuan Ji didn't suspect anything and said, Follow me to take care of our pavilion master. Yin Chujio only had one thought in her mind. Fuck. What a joke. Let her take care of Lan Luochen? If her identity was discovered, wouldn't it be difficult for her to escape? However, if she refused, Yuan Ji would probably fly into a rage out of humiliation and might attract trouble. Yin Chujio considered the possibility of running away by force again. There was still some distance from the exit. If she were to use force, she basically had no chance of winning. What should she do? Yuan Ji frowned when he saw that Yin Chujio did not respond for a long time. What are you waiting for? Why aren't you following me? Yin Chujio was so anxious that her palms were full of sweat. Suddenly, an idea came to her and she said excitedly, You mean you want me to take care of Tower Master Luochen? The very intimate kind? I am too excited. Should I go take a bath first? I knew that Tower Master Luochen was interested in me. I knew that he would not be indifferent to my feelings. However, now that he has just recovered from his serious illness, can he do that kind of thing? But it doesn't matter. If his physical strength is not good, I will take the initiative. He did not trust the people of the Divine Devil Hall. It was just that Lan Luochen had been calling Yin Chujio's name while he was unconscious. He planned to find a woman to pretend to wipe his sweat and talk to her. However, the woman in front of him actually coveted their tower master's beauty. If he called her over, wouldn't that be inviting a wolf into the house? Yuan Ji coughed and said, I suddenly remembered that I'm looking for a male guard. You can go. Yin Chujio was disappointed at first, but then her eyes lit up. I can pretend to be a man. Please let me go. I'll definitely serve Tower Master Luochen well. Yuan Ji turned around and left. No need. No need. Hey, don't go. Are you really not going to consider it? I am very good at serving people, especially a handsome man like Tower Master Luochen. Hey, Xinjiu shouted. Yuan Ji walked faster, looking like he was running away. Hey, Xinjiu pursed her lips. Little guy, I can't play you to death. Chapter 4702 was Yin Chujio, right? Seeing that Yuan Ji had gone far away, Yin Chujio quickly jumped towards the cave entrance. Just as she was about to reach the cave entrance, she heard a commotion coming from inside. She thought to herself that something bad must have happened. The guards at the entrance did not know what was happening inside, so they stretched their necks to look inside. Yin Chujio was extremely grateful that there was no way to use the sound transmission talisman here. Otherwise, she would really have no way to survive. She took 2 steps to the entrance of the cave and said solemnly, Sai, you guys still don't know, right? The 4 commanders are fighting, and even Yuan Ji from the 9 pavilions has gone to stop them. They'll go outside and take a look to prevent any trouble. The people from the Divine Devil Hall were shocked when they heard that. It turned out that the 4 leaders were fighting. No wonder there was such a big commotion. When they were slightly distracted, Yin Chujio had already jumped out of the cave and into the sea. Just when the guards felt that something was wrong, many people ran out and vaguely heard, "Don't let that bitch escape." Only then did they realize that things were bad. Yin Chujio did not care about their reactions. This bastard dived into the bottom of the sea and rode the little bastard to the shallow sea as fast as he could. She had killed 3 leaders of the Divine Devil Temple and even stole their pearls. The people of the Divine Devil Temple would definitely risk their lives to catch her. They could not afford to be careless. This bastard did not forget to swallow the 2 pearls along the way. This way, even if he was caught, he would not be afraid of being snatched back. As he ran, he used his spiritual sense to say to the Black Pearl, "You've had your fill. I'm going to lose my life for you, you Black Pearl." Hei Xinjiu acted as if she was dead, without any reaction. Hei Xinjiu was furious. She had raised an ancestor. Hei Xinjiu thought that the people from the Divine Devil Temple might intercept her on the shore. After all, flying was not prohibited here, and the speed of flying spiritual devices was much faster than that bastard. However, she did not dare to take the risk of leaving through the air. This guy thought that it was better to hide on an island first. The people from the Divine Devil Temple would not think that she would dare to do so. This was called the most dangerous place, but it was the safest place. Hence, this fellow swam to a small island at the edge of the Divine Devil Hall's sphere of influence. He took off the hidden spirit ring on his hand and entered the dense forest. At this moment, the Heaven's End cliff was already in a mess. Fortunately, at this moment, Lan Luochen woke up and controlled the situation. With a little analysis, all the clues pointed to the woman who left in a hurry. Yuan Ji was so regretful that his intestines turned green. If he had known this would happen, he would have kept the woman. Now that he thought about it, the woman must have said that on purpose to arouse his disgust, and then escape. He suddenly had a feeling in his heart that the woman could not be Yin Chujio, right? But how was this possible? Why would she come here? Lan Luochen was extremely certain that the woman was Yin Chujio, but he didn't say it out loud. If the people of the Divine Devil Hall knew that little Jiu had stolen the 2 pearls, there would be endless trouble in the future. However, the search still had to be carried out. Moreover, he had personally led Yuan Ji and his men to search the surface of the sea. He felt that based on Yin Chujio's intelligence, she wouldn't brazenly leave from the sky. Most likely, she would find a place to hide for the time being. He planned to find her and explain the stakes to her, so that she would hand over the 2 pearls. Then, he would bring her to the Lan family. From then on, she could only stay by his side. Chapter 47. 03 The Depths of the Sea of Water Mirrors, Yin Chujio. grabbed a nest of spirit bees to help her guard while she made a hammock and lay down on it to rest. The range of activity of those spirit bees was only limited to this island. Therefore, it was only reported that there were people patrolling on the surface of the sea and in the air. For the time being, no one had approached this island. Hearing this, Shinjo could not help but feel relieved. As long as time passed, the search of the Divine Devil Hall would definitely be relaxed. At that time, she would think of a way to leave. Anyway, she had food and drink. As long as she did not use her spiritual power, she would not be discovered. Just as this fellow was thinking, the spiritual bees suddenly became restless. The huge pressure made the demon beasts on the island panic and let out shrill cries. Yun Chujio looked up and saw that the original full moon had been covered by Wu Yun. Was the heavenly lightning going to strike her? Xinjia's heart felt like it was going to explode. Damn it, this god must have done it on purpose. He was afraid that she would not die. Putting aside whether she would be struck by lightning, wouldn't it be telling everyone that she was on this island? Even if she could dodge the lightning, she would be surrounded by those people. It was a dead end. She had thought of using the lightning to scare off the people from the Divine Devil Temple, but it would take at least 2 days to reach the shore. The lightning would only last for 10 to 10 hours, so she had no way to use the lightning to reach the shore. Besides, the people from the Divine Devil Temple must have set up an inescapable net on the shore. It would be suicide to go there. Before she could think of a way, the lightning had already struck down with a rumble. The trees that were struck by the heavenly lightning instantly turned into charcoal. Shinjo released Xiao Hanyo and Xiao Mogu to absorb the lightning, while she supported her cheeks to think of a solution. This fellow gritted her teeth. Now she could only do the opposite. She had to go to the other side of the heaven-ending cliff, which was the depths of the water mirror sea. With her flawless tongue, she had once again contracted a sea beast army. The people of the Divine Devil Hall could not do anything to her for the time being. With such a big commotion in the sea of water mirror, Old Man Ouyang and the others might guess that this was the Divine Devil Temple's lair. By then she would be saved. Wu Yun felt that this method was feasible, so he put away Xiao Hanyo and Xiao Mogu, gave Wu Yun a little finger, and ran toward the beach. Wu Yun in the sky naturally would not let Shinjo go so easily. He followed closely behind, crackling nonstop. As Shinjo leaped into the sea, the lightning also drilled into the sea. Although the speed had slowed down a little, it still hacked towards Shinjo. Wherever Yun Chujio passed, there was a piece of fish and sea beast corpses floating on the surface of the sea. The entire water mirror sea was like a huge seafood hot pot. Tower Master Luochen and his subordinates were searching for Yun Chujio, and they happened to be not far from this island. When he saw the situation here, he immediately guessed that Yun Chujio was at the bottom of the sea, and he couldn't help but feel happy. As long as the heavenly lightning ended, he would be able to find her. Thus, he brought his men and followed from afar. He wanted to be closer, but when he saw the sea beast corpses on the surface of the sea, he gave up on this plan. Shinjo swam all the way to the deepest part of the water mirror sea. This was the territory of the high-level sea beasts. Normally, there were few people around, so it could be said that this was their paradise. However, with the arrival of Shinjo, their miserable lives began. Chapter 4704. Wu Yun. The high-level sea beasts widened their eyes in horror when they saw Shinjo barging into their territory with a bolt of lightning. Shinjo bared her little white teeth at them. "Kids, hurry up and establish a spiritual connection with me. If anyone is disobedient, I will chop them into roasted meat." Of course, the sea beasts would not give in obediently and run in all directions. However, even if they escaped, they would not be able to escape. Shinjo was simply wicked. She would chase after the rocks or coral reefs at the bottom of the sea. That place was basically the nest of the sea beasts. Moreover, some of them even had young. Even if they could escape, those young would not be able to escape. The sea beasts had no choice but to establish a temporary contract with Hei Shinjio. Therefore, the heavenly thunder did not do anything to Hei Shinjio. Instead, it helped her take in a bunch of sea beast underlings. Hei Shinjio said with a smile, "Brother Wu Yin, thank you so much. If it weren't for your help, I wouldn't have been able to take in so many underlings. You are really a sky-high good Wu Yin. Let me show you a heart-to-heart." Wu Yin was so angry that he was trembling. Heart-to-heart? Show her my ass. She was so angry that she was going to die. Unfortunately, the power of the heavenly lightning in the water was not as strong as on land, so she had no way to kill Hei Shinjio. Wu Yin only felt that he had nowhere to vent his anger. Coincidentally, he saw the ship that had been following Lan Luochen, and he was so angry that he hacked at it. Even in his dreams, Lan Luochen had never thought that Wu Yin would be so unprofessional and would actually hack at the wrong person. Although he was not injured, the ship was destroyed. Most importantly, Yin Chujio pulled away from him. By the time Wu Yin dispersed, and he brought his men to catch Hei Shinjio had already subdued a bunch of sea beast underlings. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for them to catch her. After Hei Shinjio was struck by lightning, her spiritual power level had broken through to the 6th level of the Nirvana stage. She found a lone island and spent her days being domineering. It was extremely comfortable. On the other side, Lan Luochen was angry and anxious, but he was even more determined to get Yin Chujio. He had initially been conflicted about one thing, but now he felt that he could make a decision. However, the matter of little Jiu stealing the 2 pearls could not be spread out. He glanced at Yuanji and said, "Do it." Yuanji was a little hesitant. "Pavilion Master, are we really going to kill them all? If we do this, if the Divine Devil Hall finds out, I'm afraid that the Master will not let you off easily. They are all abandoned children now. No one will care about their lives." "After we settle this, we will return to the Lan family," Lan Luochen said gloomily. Yuanji had not finished speaking when he felt the killing intent from Lan Luchen's body. He could only shut his mouth embarrassedly and turn around to leave. Lan Luchen's eyes flickered. "Little Jiu, we will meet soon. This time, you won't be able to escape even if you have wings." 2 days later, Hei Shinjio received news from the patrolling sea beasts that the people from the Divine Devil Hall had all left. Yin Chujio initially thought that the sea beasts were trying to trick her. However, after a few days, she tried to approach the Heaven's End cliff and realized that the people from the Divine Devil Hall had really left. This guy was puzzled. What was going on? Could it be that the people from the Divine Devil Hall had received some other order and left? But no matter what, this was a good thing for her. This guy released the group of shadow-skimming giant winged birds and let them settle down in the Heaven's End cliff. Although there were many high-level sea beasts here, they couldn't fly, so they weren't a threat to the shadow-skimming giant winged birds. Chapter 4705. Visitors. Yin Chujio was worried that the people of the Divine Devil Hall were playing some kind of trick. She was afraid that they would set up an ambush by the sea. She sent the shadow bird to scout many times before she left the Sea of Water Mirror on her flying spirit tool. On the way, she met people from the 5 major sects who were looking for her and returned to the Nameless Sword sect together. Master Ouyang reprimanded her. Hei Shinjio naturally wouldn't be stupid enough to talk about the 2 pearls. She only said that she wanted to go to the Sea of Water Mirror to have fun, but she met people from the Divine Devil Hall. Master Ouyang and the people from the other sects were very surprised. Why did the people from the Divine Devil Hall leave for no reason? Where did they go? However, after a round of investigation, they didn't find anything. The people from the Divine Devil Hall and the 9 pavilions seemed to have disappeared into thin air. In the following period of time, Hei Shinjio had a very comfortable life in the Nameless Sword sect. Other than the occasional lightning strike, everything else went very smoothly. She even went to the sword hut to visit Jianfeng once. When Yin Chujio left the Earthfire Tunnel, Jianfeng had initially hoped that Yin Chujio would come in to look for him. However, after waiting for a long time, he did not see Yin Chujio coming over again. He could not help but feel disheartened, as he felt that Yin Chujio was trying to trick him. However, it made sense. Who would take the risk to come in and visit a remnant soul that was attached to his obsession? Therefore, after seeing Yin Chujio, she was overjoyed. The old and the young chatted very happily. Yin Chujio originally wanted to try to bring Jian Feng into the demon realm. In this way, it was equivalent to regaining a physical body. Not only Jian Feng, but also the remnant souls that she placed in the 10,000-year-old green jade bottle. It would be great if she could bring them into the demon realm, or the ghost realm. However, her idea was ridiculed by the black bead and the brick. Although they could not speak, the mockery was very strong. Hei Xinjiu was so angry that she was twitching. Yin Chujio could only give up this idea temporarily. However, she felt that since the ghost clan was the remnant souls that the ghost ancestor had collected in the beginning, there must be a way to turn Jian Feng and the remnant souls into the ghost clan. Perhaps it would be possible after she recovered her memory. On this day, Hei Xinjiu was sunbathing in the courtyard. Her right eyelid kept twitching nonstop, and she was feeling a little flustered. This fellow could not help but frown. The gigolo had not moved for a long time. Could it be that something had happened? However, Di Baiming was in the Chongshao continent, and she had no way to contact him. She comforted herself. The gigolo had said that he would not die. He would definitely be fine. Even so, she was still a little flustered. She could not wait to go to the Heavy Cloud continent to find out what was going on. However, she did not know how to go to the Heavy Cloud continent. Her spiritual power level was not at the peak of the 9th level. She could only be anxious, but could not use her strength. Yin Chujio was pacing restlessly in the courtyard when her identity jade token rang. Master Ouyang's voice came from inside. "Little Jiu, come to the meeting hall." After entering the meeting hall, she noticed that the atmosphere inside was a bit strange. She glanced around and found that Master Ouyang did not sit in the main seat, but in the guest seat on the left, while the guest seat on the higher right sat a square-faced old man. Yin Chujio was puzzled. In this towering continent, Master Ouyang's position could be said to be very important. Why did it seem like this square-faced old man's position was even higher than Master Ouyang's? Chapter 4706. Yin Chujio pondered as she bowed to Master Ouyang. Master Ouyang said with a complicated expression, "Little Jiu, this is the senior of the Lan family in the Chongshao continent. He has something important to talk to you about." Yin Chujio's heart skipped a beat. Lan family? What was that scum Lan Luochen playing at this time? Or was it that Lan Luochen was angered to death by her, so he came to settle the score with her? This fellow did not make a sound in accordance with the principle of if the enemy does not move, I will not move. The old man sized up Yin Chujio and said, "You are Yin Chujio? Is your grandmother Lan Qishan?" Yin Chujio was stunned. How did it involve her grandmother? Could it be that her grandmother was related to the Lan family? She wanted to deny it, but since this person was already sitting here, he must have investigated it thoroughly. It was useless even if she denied it. She could only nod and admit it. The old man asked again, "Did your grandmother leave anything behind? For example, a jade token?" Yin Chujio blinked her eyes. "Old man, I don't know you. Why should I tell you this?" The square-faced old man was stunned by Hei Xinjia's question. His eyes flashed with impatience and he said coldly, "Your grandmother is my biological sister. You should call me uncle and grandfather. Do you think I have the right to ask these things?" Uncle and grandfather? Yin Chujio did not think that this uncle and grandfather was kind enough to recognize their relatives. She chuckled and said, "You said that my uncle and grandfather are my uncle and grandfather? You should have a proof, right?" The old man snorted and took out a jade slip. Yin Chujio saw that this was an identity document from the Chongshao continent. It was written very clearly on it. The old man's name was Lan Dimeo, and he was a member of the Lan family's 3rd branch. The old man carefully took out a family tree and handed it to Yin Chujio. Yin Chujio saw her grandmother's name on it, and it was indeed Lan Dimeo's biological sister. After reading it, Yin Chujio immediately burst into tears. Great-uncle, are you really my biological great-uncle? Little Jill has been waiting for you for so long. No wonder I felt my blood boiling when I saw you just now. So this is the power of blood. Lon Dimeo was frightened by this guy's voice. What nonsense was this? This Yin Chujio isn't a little crazy, right? However, on second thought, the status of the Lon family was extraordinary, so it was normal for this little girl to curry favor with them. Now you can give me the things left by your grandmother, right? Lon Dimeo asked with some urgency. Yin Chujio immediately took out the box left behind by the Lan family. Great-uncle, this is the box left behind by my grandmother. Lon Dimeo hurriedly took the box and scanned it with his spiritual sense. Then he frowned. This is it. There's nothing else. Yin Chujio was at a loss. That's right. What else should there be? Lon Dimeo stared at Yin Chujio. Seeing that she didn't have the slightest bit of guilt, he thought to himself, could it be that the jade token really wasn't with her? Forget it. Regardless of whether there are other things or not, since I already know of your existence, I naturally want you to acknowledge your ancestors and return to the Lon family. You can follow me back to the Lan family. Lon Dimeo said with some disdain. Yin Chujio saw Lon Dimeo's expression and had a guess in her heart. It was likely that this Lon Dimeo did not get involved in the Lon family and the Divine Devil Hall's matters. It was also possible that the cooperation between the Lon family and the Divine Devil Hall was only carried out in private, so Lon Dimeo did not know anything about it. Otherwise, Lon Dimeo would not have shown a look of disdain and would have tried his best to trick her into going to the Lan family. Chapter 4707 Parents' Whereabouts. Yin Chujio showed a troubled expression and said, Great-uncle, although I am very happy to be able to go with you to the Lan family, my cultivation is so low. If I go to the Lon family, I will definitely be ridiculed by others. I will not go. Lon Dimeo snorted coldly. It is rare that you have self-awareness. Although you are a little useless, there is no reason for the blood and bones of the Lan family to be left outside. Needless to say, you will leave this place with me immediately. Yin Chujio once again began to cry. Uncle, grandfather, it's not that I don't want to go back to the Lan family with you. I'll tell you the truth. My father and mother have gone missing. I want to wait for them to come back. Yin Chujio guessed in her heart that the jade token should be very important. Otherwise, Lon Dimeo could have sent a servant or a junior from the family over. He would not have come personally. Then the question came. Since this Lon Dimeo had come to look for her, why didn't he go to look for her mother before? This did not make sense. Or did he just find out the whereabouts of his grandmother? Just as Yin Chujio was wondering, Lon Dimeo said, I also just found out the whereabouts of the two of you. Otherwise, I would not have let your mother marry that Yin Fengjin. Just pretend that your parents are dead. The Lan family will naturally help you choose a suitable marriage in the future. You can be considered to have a future. Yin Chujio almost died from anger when she heard that. What did he mean by pretending that her parents were dead? How could he say that? Uncle, Grandpa, what do you mean by that? Do you know the whereabouts of my parents? There's no need for you to know so much. Hurry up and leave with me. I still have a lot of things to do. I don't have time to waste here with you. Lon Dimeo was clearly getting impatient. If it weren't for the fact that he wanted to find out the whereabouts of the jade token, he wouldn't have bothered to come and claim such a good-for-nothing. Yin Chujio was very shrewd. She guessed that Lon Dimeo had kept the jade token for her. She said, Uncle, Grandpa, didn't you just ask if there was a jade token? Maybe my grandmother gave the jade tablet to my mother. Why don't you ask my mother? Lon Dimeo said unhappily. Do you think I didn't think of this? Those two idiots were locked up by the Zen sect. Those bald donkeys are very stubborn. They didn't even give face to our Lon family. How am I supposed to ask them? Yin Chujio was shocked. Zen sect. Her parents were actually locked up by the Zen sect. No wonder the gigolo specifically told her not to provoke the Zen sect in the future. Could there be some secret behind this? However, how could her parents provoke the Zen sect and even be locked up? Could it be related to the Yun family's ancestral mausoleum? Lan Dimeo saw that Yun Chujio didn't say anything, so he simply stood up. Without greeting Master Ouyang, he grabbed Yun Chujio's arm and walked out. Master Ouyang naturally wouldn't just sit by and do nothing. Senior you. Before Master Ouyang could finish his words, Lan Dimeo released his pressure on him and forcefully shut the rest of his words in his mouth. Yun Chujio recovered from her shock and thought that it wouldn't be too bad to take this opportunity to go to the Chongsha continent. It would be a good opportunity to see what happened to the gigolo and find out about her parents. However, she had a worry. The Lan family must be related to Lan Luochen. It would be difficult to deal with him. Thinking of this, she quickly said, "Uncle, I will follow you back. Don't be angry. However, do you know someone called Lan Luochen?" Chapter 47:08 Lan Dimeo frowned unhappily. "Of course I know him. Why did you mention him?" Yun Chujio saw that Lan Dimeo did not seem to like Lan Luochen, and she could not help but feel happy. She said aggrievedly, "Uncle, grandfather, I have offended him previously. If he asks for someone from you, you won't hand me over to him, right?" Lan Dimeo snorted. "He's just a junior. How can he ask for someone from me? Besides, I don't know what he did wrong a few days ago. Big brother locked him in the Lan family's forbidden area. He won't be able to come out for a while. What are you afraid of him for?" Yun Chujio let out a sigh of relief when she heard that. She thought to herself that it would be best to keep him locked in the forbidden area, although the Lan family had colluded with the Divine Devil Hall. As long as they were not exposed to the public, she should be able to handle it if she was a little more careful. Hence, this fellow smiled like a flower. "Great uncle, your words are too domineering. As the saying goes, mother and uncle are the eldest while great uncle is the eldest. From now on, I will be relying on you to take care of me." The corner of Lan Dimeo's mouth twitched. This little girl was able to climb to her current position from the lowest grade continent. Could it be that she relied on flattery? Lan Dimeo snorted coldly and did not say anything. With his status, he naturally would not be fooled by a few good words. Yun Chujio continued, "Great uncle, you must be very tired after coming all the way here. Why don't you condescend to rest here for a night, so that I can say goodbye to everyone? You love me so much, so you definitely won't reject me, right? Master, quickly prepare a good courtyard for my great uncle. Then fish out the carefree fish, and stew it for my great uncle. Also prepare a pot of spirit wine. You can accompany my great uncle to drink 2 cups of wine." Master Ouyang hurriedly said, "Senior Lan, what little ninth girl said makes sense. Although our place can't compare to the Chongsha continent, you've been traveling all the way here. It won't be too late for you to rest for a night before leaving." Lan Dimeo frowned and said impatiently, "All right, let's stay for a night. We will leave at midnight tomorrow morning." "Great uncle, you are so good to me. I will be filial to you in the future. I will catch the fish for you personally." Hei Shinjio ran away as soon as she said that. Lan Dimeo's frown deepened. How could a girl behave like this? However, she had always lived in a low-class continent and had never been taught by a strict lady. It was no wonder that she was like this. When she returned to the Lan family, she would definitely find a strict woman to teach her properly. Master Ouyang carefully invited Lan Dimeo to a good guest house and arranged for someone to send over high-class spirit fruits and pastries. Lan Dimeo naturally did not like these things, but he did not say anything. He just impatiently asked Master Ouyang to leave. Master Ouyang wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Just as he returned to the courtyard, he saw Yun Chujio waiting for him with a smile. The master and disciple entered the house. Yun Chujio knelt on the ground and kowtowed 3 times respectfully. Master Ouyang's nose was sore. Although this little disciple hadn't been accepted for long, and sometimes he even felt that she was too noisy. But when he thought of the separation in the future, his heart was very sour. "Get up. This trip of yours is probably very dangerous. Why don't you take this opportunity to leave? The towering sky continent is so big, the Lan family might not be able to find you. Moreover, their spiritual power will be restricted in the towering sky continent, and they can't do anything to you. Chapter 4709. The evil disciple Yin Chujo smiled and shook her head. Master, if I leave like this, the Lan family will definitely vent their anger on the nameless sword sect. Moreover, I can take this opportunity to go to the Chongshao continent to inquire about my parents. Moreover, you have to believe me. It might not be someone who is unlucky. When Master Ouyang thought of this fellow's evil schemes, the worry in his heart immediately dissipated a lot. Indeed, it might not be someone who was unlucky. Master, I had a dream last night. Grandmaster taught me a few more moves. I'll demonstrate them to you now. Hei Xinjiu said as she demonstrated the half set of sword techniques she had learned on the stone wall to Master Ouyang. Master Ouyang stood up in shock, his face dumbfounded. With his eyesight, he could naturally see the profundity of this sword technique. This sword technique was much more advanced than the nameless sword technique he was practicing now. While Master Ouyang was still in shock, Yin Chujo took out a few pieces of paper and drew the diagrams of these sword techniques one by one. After thinking for a while, she drew a copy of the modified Big Dipper sword formation and handed it to Master Ouyang. Master Patriarch told me all this in my dream. He probably knows that I'm leaving the nameless sword sect, so he taught me everything last night, Yin Chujo said with a smile. Master Ouyang looked at the diagram in his hand, trembling. He knew that these things could ensure the safety of the nameless sword sect for several years. He couldn't help but sigh. The best decision he had made in his life was to take in such a disciple. While he was thinking, Yin Chujo took out a few big buckets and said, Master, well, I'll treat these little things as my gift to you. Hei Xinjiu ran away as soon as she finished speaking. Master Ouyang looked down and saw that the buckets were filled with carefree fish. Master Ouyang recalled the carefree fish case and immediately shouted, Evil disciple, come back. Hei Xinjiu had already gone to bid farewell to her acquaintances. Elder Duanmu, Elder Dongfang, Elder Gu, Hall Master Zhuge, Zhao Hui Li Zhuangji. In the end, this fellow hopped into Elder Wan's courtyard. Elder Wan, I'm leaving. Don't you have anything to say? Elder Wan had hardly left his house these days, and Wan Pengqing rarely showed his face. Even so, Elder Wan was still very well informed. He knew that Yin Chujo was going to the Lan family in the Chongshao continent. He could not help but smile bitterly. He had wanted to kill her, but in the end, he had ended up in this state, while she had ascended to the heavens in one step. Now that he saw Yin Chujo coming, he thought that Yin Chujo was here to show off. He sneered and said, You are here to take revenge, right? The winner is the king, and the loser is the bandit. You can do whatever you want with him, Yin Chujo said with a smile. Take revenge? I don't have the time. I just came to tell you a piece of news out of kindness. The previous Wan Qingba was a fake from the Divine Devil Hall. The real Wan Qingba should have died long ago. In addition, that fake Wan Qingba has already been killed by me. I will take revenge for you. Yin Chujo turned to leave after saying that. Elder Wan was stunned for a moment and shouted, Why did you tell me all this? Why did you do this? If Yin Chujo did not tell him, he would be troubled by this inner demon for the rest of his life. Shouldn't she hate him? Yin Chujo stopped in her tracks, turned around and said indifferently, Elder Wan, it's true that we have personal grudges, but you and I are both members of the Nameless Sword sect. Yin Chujo only said this before turning around and leaving. Chapter 47:10. Elder Wan was stunned for a moment and didn't say anything. Wan Pengqing walked up to him and asked in confusion, Grandpa, what does she mean? Elder Wan sighed. She wants me to give up on the fight with the sect master. She's half bribing me and half threatening me. Forget it. It's hard for me to rise again anyway. As long as you work hard in the future, you'll be able to live up to the ancestors of the Wan family. On the other side, Dog 2 asked in confusion, Little Fairy, why did you tell that old thing the truth? Can't you just let him go mad? Or just kill him with one strike? Although Elder One looks like he has been suppressed to the point where he can't make a comeback, he has been in business for several years. Furthermore, he should still have some influence outside the sect. Even if you kill him, his subordinates will be a hidden danger sooner or later. Now the three sects of the two islands have just redivided their sphere of influence, so it is still peaceful. However, there will be a fight sooner or later. If the Nameless Sword sect fights among themselves, they will definitely suffer a loss in the future. So, why don't I sell him a favor and make him give up on coveting the sect leader's heart? Yin Chujo said faintly, "Little fairy, although what you said makes sense, what if he still refuses to come to his senses? Aren't you wasting your good intentions?" Yin Chujo didn't answer butt-face. Instead, she opened her hand, and a spirit bee landed on her palm. The spirit bee repeated what Elder Wan and Wan Pengcheng had said. Yin Chujo nodded and let the spirit bee go. She curled her lips and said, "If he refuses to come to his senses, he will naturally be killed. However, he is still smart enough to know what to do." Dog 2 thought to itself. It was just like it said. How could this black-hearted little girl be so kind? So she had a backup plan. Yin Chujo bade farewell once before returning to her own courtyard. She then sent a message to Xiao Yu before releasing Qiying. Rabbit. Qiying lay on the ground half dead and did not make a sound. He looked as if he was in deep sorrow. Yin Chujo chuckled. "Little Shadow, I'm going to the Chongshao continent soon. Are you surprised?" As Qiying and Yin Chujo had no spiritual sense connection, he did not know anything about Lan Dimeo. He was stunned and then said angrily, "You want to go to the Chongshao continent? Your spiritual power level is not enough. Are you playing me again?" Yin Chujo blinked her eyes. "I'm telling the truth. Not only do I want to go to the Chongshao continent, I also want to go to the Lan family." Yin Chujo did not mention the Lan family, but when she mentioned the Lan family, Qiying was so angry that he was twitching. "Yin Chujo, are you still going to lie to me with that nonsense? What do you mean you're going to choose Lan Luochen? Pooey. No matter how stupid I am, I won't believe your nonsense anymore." Qiying snorted coldly and continued to lie on the ground, pretending to be dead. He would not be fooled again. However, he heard Yin Chujo say coldly, "Little Shadow, do you want to change into a female rabbit's body?" Qiying immediately jumped up and said, "Well, I was thinking about the Lan family just now. What do you want to know? I promised to tell you everything I know." Yin Chujo glanced at him, but didn't say anything. Qiying immediately said, "You also know that I went to the ghost region earlier, so I don't know what happened recently. When I left the Heavy Cloud continent, the Lan family had 3 branches. Everyone knew about the internal intrigue of the family." Chapter 47:11. Rules of the Lan family. Yin Chujo was not surprised to hear Qiying's words. Not to mention a big family like the Lan family, even a small family would fight for benefits. Qiying saw that Yin Chujo's expression did not change and sneered. "Do you think this is very common? Then you might not know that the Lan family often fights. As long as no one dies, no one will care. The Lan family's junior competition, which was held every 6 months, was extremely brutal. If they died, they died. No one would ask about it. Therefore, those who could become the young master of the Lan family, or the family head, had their hands stained with blood. They were all ruthless people. However, doing so had its benefits. At least the Lan family had always stood strong. Because no one wanted to lose their lives, they would naturally do their best to become stronger." Yin Chujo was really shocked. Other families at least forbade killing each other on the surface. But why did the Lan family allow it, and even encourage it? Logically speaking, shouldn't the head of the family be replaced by someone from the eldest branch? Why would the other branches fight? Yin Chujo asked in confusion. The Lan family is different from other aristocratic families. Their young master doesn't have to be inherited by the eldest son or grandson of the eldest branch. Instead, he is chosen through layers of selection. Therefore, that Lan Luochen actually gave up the position of the young master for you. He really has deep feelings for you. Putting aside how difficult it was for him to obtain the position of young master, You must know that once he gave up the position of young master, those people who were brought down by him previously would not spare him. TSK. You really have a heart of stone. Qi curled his lips and said. Yin Chujio laughed lightly and said, You, a single rabbit, want to talk about feelings with me? Do you think you have the right? Qi. Discrimination. You're blatantly discriminating. Yin Chujio glanced at him and signaled him to continue talking about the Lan family. That's all I know. Are you really going to the Lan family? Qi asked suspiciously. He really could not understand why Yin Chujio was suddenly so interested in the Lan family. Could it be that she had really gotten over it? Yin Chujio said faintly, I'm going to seek refuge with my great-uncle. Qi was dumbfounded. What was that? Seek refuge with his great-uncle? Where did a great-uncle come from? Yin Chujio did not explain. Instead, she kept the confused Qi into her spirit beast pouch. She pondered in her heart. No wonder her maternal grandmother had fallen into the immortal Yuan continent. It was highly likely that she was the victim of the Lan family's struggle. In the eyes of the Lan family, there were only interests and no kinship. Naturally, they would not care whether a junior with low talent was dead or alive. This time, Lan Dimeo came to find her. It was probably because of that jade token. Thinking of this, Yin Chujio took out the jade token that she had found from the Lan family's box. Yin Chujio wanted Qi to take a look at it, but she was afraid that he would know something extraordinary, so she had no choice but to put the jade medallion away. She thought of her parents who had been locked up by the Zen sect again. She really could not understand how her parents had provoked the Zen sect. She took out the relic of monk Wang Su and looked at it. When the monk Wang Su had asked her to give this relic to the bitter Zen sect before he died, he was probably talking about the Zen sect in the Chongshao continent. This was a reason to get close to the Zen sect. At that time, she would have to plan carefully. What Yin Chujio did not notice was that the moment she took out the relic, the demon sky bell, and the wooden fish on her wrists flashed with a faint golden light. Chapter 47 12 Qing family of the Valley of Fog. Yin Chujio put away the relic and thought of Di Baiming, who hadn't heard from her for many days. Logically speaking, no matter how busy he was, he would still find time to visit her. Did something really happen? That night, He Xinjiu, who had always been ambitious, had a rare bout of insomnia. She didn't fall asleep until dawn. However, she was quickly woken up by Master Ouyang. Little Jiu, Senior Lan is ready to set off. Hurry up and come over. Yin Chujio cursed in her heart. Why did this old thing wake up so early for no reason? However, she didn't dare not to get up. She quickly got up, washed up, and rushed to the guest house with a meat bun in her mouth. When Lan Dimeo saw Yin Chujio's appearance, he couldn't help but frown. What's wrong with the girl's family? When you return to the Lan family, you'll definitely find someone to teach you the rules. Yin Chujio obediently agreed, but in her heart she sneered. Rules? Wasn't the Lan family's rule that the weak were prey to the strong? This rule was good, and she liked it very much. Yin Chujio said to Sect Master Ouyang, Master, I'm leaving with my great-uncle now. Don't worry. Since I was brought back by my great-uncle, he will definitely protect me. Otherwise, once I return, I'll be bullied to death. And he won't have any face, right? Humph. Lan Dimeo snorted coldly. This little girl knew how to climb up the ladder. However, she was dreaming. As long as her life was not involved, he couldn't be bothered. Even though Master Ouyang was very worried, he couldn't say anything. He could only watch He Xinjiu leave with Lan Dimeo on the flying spiritual device. After Yin Chujio got on the flying spiritual device, she turned on the chatterbox mode. Great-uncle, your flying spiritual device seems to be much stronger than the one in the sky-high continent. It must cost a lot of money, right? Lan Dimeo snorted coldly. This flying spirit tool was made by the Qing family of the Valley of Fog. Not only is it fast and has strong defense, but it can also attack. Naturally, it is quite expensive. Yin Chujio's eyes lit up when she heard that. It can also attack. This was really not bad. If there was a chance, She would buy 180 flying spirit tools for fun. Lon Dimeo probably saw through her thoughts and said with slight disdain, "Don't even think about this flying spirit tool. This one costs 100 million high-grade spirit stones. Moreover, this kind of high-end flying spirit tool is sold in limited quantities by the Qing family. Even if you have the money, you can't buy it, not to mention that you don't have the money." Hearing Lon Dimeo's words, all the dumb cuties in Yin Chujia's spirit beast bag rolled around in laughter. The master of the black-hearted was just rich, and she said that she didn't have any money. She was really blind. Qing didn't know what these dumb cuties were laughing about, and thought that they were laughing at him again. He was so angry that he was twitching. He had had enough of this wretched life. As long as there was a chance, he would get rid of that damned girl no matter what. Hearing Lon Dimeo's words, Yin Chujio was also amused in her heart. She was poor. She was poor. She was so poor that she only had money left. Yin Chujio shifted her gaze to the decorations inside the flying spirit tool. She found that these things were very high-end and grand. They looked very valuable. "Great uncle, this teapot is also fragile. It can't be placed like this. Let me help you keep it too." "Great uncle, 2 or 3 of these chairs will be enough. The rest will take up a lot of space here. I don't mind the trouble. I'll help you keep it." Chapter 47:13. Wang Baqing. Lon Dimeo was dumbfounded. He had seen a lot of people, but this was the first time he had seen such a thick-skinned person who talked to herself. Moreover, she was just a little girl. How could she be so thick-skinned? Lon Dimeo saw that Yin Chujio quickly swept away all the things in the flying spiritual tool and shouted angrily, "Impudent! You put it down." Yin Chujio had an innocent look. "Uncle, why are you angry? I asked for your opinion, but you didn't object, so I put it away." Lon Dimeo was angry. He didn't object. He was just confused, okay? "You really have no rules. Kneel down." Lon Dimeo said angrily. He felt that he had to teach Yin Chujio a lesson, or she wouldn't know his identity at all. Yin Chujio looked at Lon Dimeo in disbelief. "Great uncle, you are my blood-related great uncle. How dare you punish me? Woo-woo. I won't go to the Lon family. I thought that I would enjoy life in the Lon family. It turns out that I'm going to suffer. I won't go." Hei Xinjiu shouted as she spoke, but her body was always on guard. If Lon Dimeo made a move, at least she would not be at a disadvantage. The reason why this guy was acting so evilly was to test Lon Dimeo's bottom line. This way, she would have a reference when she went to the Lan family. Lon Dimeo was annoyed by Yin Chujia's howls. He roared, "Shut up. The Lan family has always shed blood but not tears. How can there be a useless thing like you? Hurry up and return everything to me. Otherwise, you'll have to learn the family law. Don't shed tears or shed blood." Hei Xinjiu pursed her lips. That was someone else. In her place, anything that could be resolved with tears would naturally be resolved with tears. She cherished her life very much. Hei Xinjiu pouted and returned the things. Of course, this fellow would not hand them all over. He would have to secretly hide some good things. Lon Dimeo was infuriated by her. Without looking carefully, he directly sent her to another cabin. Out of sight, out of mind. Hei Xinjiu returned to her own cabin. Her eyes flashed. Lon Dimeo actually didn't punish her. It seemed that the jade token was very important. Of course, she also knew that Lon Dimeo was too lazy to argue with a junior like her. Otherwise, he would have dealt with her long ago. The flying spiritual device flew to a seemingly ordinary valley. However, after Lon Dimeo formed a seal, a barrier appeared and dragged Yin Chujio inside. Hei Xinjiu knew that this should be the passage leading to the Chongshao continent. Lon Dimeo summoned the flying spiritual device again, and continued on his journey with Hei Xinjiu. Along the way, Hei Xinjiu leaned on the porthole and looked out. She had never seen many plants and demonic beasts before. The first thought that popped up in her mind was, these things should be delicious, right? A few days later, the flying spiritual weapon landed outside a towering city. Yin Chujio looked up and saw 2 big words written on the plaque on the city, Imperial City. The two words were really hard and powerful. However, Hei Shinjio felt that there seemed to be another word in the middle of the word Imperial City that had been erased by someone. This was because the color of the middle part was obviously different from the other parts. This fellow thought to himself, could the word in the middle be 8? Haha, bastard city. Lan Dimeo saw the silly smile on Yun Chujia's face and thought that she had been intimidated by the aura of the Imperial City and looked down on her even more. Chapter 47:14 Buying clothes. Lan Dimeo glared at Yun Chujio. Why aren't you following us? Yun Chujio bared her white teeth and quickly followed. Uncle grandfather, did we change the name of this city? Lan Dimeo snorted coldly. Nonsense. This place has always been called the Imperial City. Stop being petty and don't embarrass the Lan family. Otherwise, when we return to the manor, I will get someone to apply for the family law. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. Pooey. She was not a member of the Lan family. She was a member of the Yun family. However, this fellow seemed to be able to bend and bend as he said with a smile. Great uncle. I don't want to embarrass myself either. But look at the girls on the street who are dressed so well. I, the grand cousin of the Lan family, am dressed like a beggar. Shouldn't you buy me a few sets of new clothes? Otherwise, not only will I embarrass the Lan family, but I'll also embarrass the third concubine. Lan Dimeo thought about it and realized that it made sense. Those two concubines were not good people. Perhaps they were waiting to see the third concubine make a fool of herself. If it were not for them, Qisheng would not have fallen to the immortal Yuan continent. After Lan Qisheng went missing, the Lan family had searched for her for a while. However, Lan Qisheng was only a concubine, and her talent was very poor. Later on, they stopped searching for her. While thinking, Lan Dimeo brought Yun Chujio to a satin shop and said to the shopkeeper, help her pick out a few suitable clothes. The shopkeeper quickly said respectfully, yes, third elder Lan. The shopkeeper pointed at a few clothes and said, Miss, the clothes here are all high quality and well made. Which style do you like? My great uncle is not short of money. Pack these for me. I want all of them. Put the big red one outside. I want to wear it later, Hei Shinjio said arrogantly. Hearing that, the shopkeeper immediately went to pack the clothes with a big smile on his face. However, he was puzzled in his heart. This little girl called Third Elder Lan great uncle? It was really strange. Third Elder Lan didn't have any sisters. He had a sister who was born out of wedlock. Hadn't she been missing for many years? Although Lan Dimeo did not like Yun Chujia's greedy behavior, he did not say anything. However, a moment later, when Yun Chujio changed into the bright red dress and came out, he was really stunned. Could it be that people rely on clothes? Why did he suddenly feel that this little girl's bearing was much better than those women at home? Just as Lan Dimeo was in a daze, he saw Yun Chujio bared her little white teeth. Uncle Grandpa, now that we have these new clothes, don't we still need to buy some jewelry? Lan Dimeo instantly threw his previous thoughts to the back of his mind. This was just a little trash who liked to take advantage of others. She was simply not presentable. However, he still brought Yun Chujio into the jewelry shop to buy a few pieces of jewelry before returning to the third branch of the Lan family. The moment he reached the door, he saw that everyone was already waiting for him. When they saw Lan Dimeo return, everyone bowed one after another. Some called him father, some called him grandfather, and some called him grandfather. All in all, everyone was very respectful. Of course, while everyone bowed, they naturally looked at Yun Chujio, who was dressed in bright and beautiful clothes. This was especially so for the ladies. One look at Yun Chujio's clothes and jewelry, and they knew that she was from the best shop in the Imperial City. Furthermore, they were all very expensive. They started to suspect that this country bumpkin from the lower continent was very popular with the third elder. Lan Dimeo only nodded and took the lead to walk into the manor. Hei Shinjio also followed behind. The others were stunned for a moment before following behind. Chapter 47:15 Finding an ant. The living room of the Land family's 3 branches was very spacious. Even if dozens of people from the Land family's 3 branches followed them in, it would still be more than enough. After Landimeo sat down, the people who followed him in finally found their seats according to their status. Only Yin Chujio stood behind Landimeo. This guy was very shrewd. If she stood in the middle of the living room, she would give people the feeling that she was at the mercy of others. However, when she stood behind Landimeo, people subconsciously felt that Landimeo was protecting her. After all, Landimeo was the leader of the 3rd house. She naturally had to make good use of this golden uncle. Landimeo took 2 sips of tea before he looked at Yin Chujio and said, "This is Yin Chujio. Her grandmother is my sister who has been missing for many years. She will stay in the 3rd house from now on. Boss, please settle her down properly, and find her a strict woman to teach her manners. Alright, let's go." After Landimeo finished speaking, he flung his sleeves and left. Once Landimeo left, the men in the 3 branches also left, leaving behind only a few women. One of the middle-aged women said gently, "Little Gio, I am your aunt. Please treat this place as your own home. Don't treat me as an outsider." Yin Chujio sneered in her heart. Was this old white lotus reminding her that she was a guest? She had just arrived, and he was already doing this to her? How interesting. She smiled and said, "Thank you, first aunt. The blood of the Lan family flows in my body. Isn't this my home?" The middle-aged woman, who was Landimeo's eldest daughter-in-law, Zhuangshi's expression froze. But she instantly returned to her original gentle expression. "You little girl, you really know how to talk. You must be tired from your journey. Go back to the courtyard and rest. I'll help you introduce your family another day." Yin Chujio thanked him with a smile, and then followed a maid to her courtyard. She knew that Landimeo was trying to put her in her place. Otherwise, he should have gotten someone to help her introduce the people from the 3rd branch before leaving. However, Landimeo left in a hurry after saying a few words. Could this old man be taking revenge on her because she had spent his money? Zhuangshi did not mistreat Yin Chujio's residence. The courtyard was very elegant, and she even arranged for 4 maids. 2 of the maids were to serve Yin Chujio, while the other 2 were to do some menial work in the courtyard. Everything looked good, except for 2 pots of flowers on the windowsill. Yin Chujio looked at the 2 pots of beautiful flowers. She curled the corners of her lips and said to the 2 maids. The 2 maids did not expect Yin Chujio to threaten them the moment she arrived. Moreover, it seemed that she was not joking, because she was holding a big kitchen knife with a cold light in her hand. Although the 2 handmaidens looked down on Yin Chujio in their hearts, they still did not understand the situation, and did not dare to disobey her orders. They could only carry the 2 pots of flowers, and bring Yin Chujio to Landimeo's courtyard. Landimeo's courtyard was naturally not open to anyone. Hei Shinjio was stopped by the guards. Yin Chujio was not angry. Instead, she took out a piece of paper and pen and wrote a note. Then she said, "Pass these 2 pots of flowers and the note to the 3rd elder. Take these spirit stones and drink tea." As she spoke, Yin Chujio passed the 2 guards 500 high-grade spirit stones each. This was also the amount of money that she estimated based on the prices of the imperial city. As expected, the attitude of the 2 guards immediately became much better. "Miss Cousin, don't worry. We will help you send them in." Yin Chujio nodded, and then left with the 2 confused maids. Inside the house, Landimeo opened the note that the guard had given him, and was so angry that he started to twitch. On the note, there was a line of words. "Uncle Grandpa, these 2 pots of flowers are Xiaojio's gift to you. I wish that you are more beautiful than the flowers, and find me an aunt as soon as possible." Chapter 47:16 was one of the best. Landimeo was so angry. Was it appropriate to use a person more beautiful than a flower on an old man like him? Moreover, what grandaunt? This was simply nonsense. The more Landimeo thought about it, the angrier he got. He was also very displeased with the 2 pots of flowers. Suddenly his pupils constricted. The sinking spirit flower and the morning glow flower? Although he was not proficient in medicine, he was at least knowledgeable. Although these two flowers were not poisonous when placed alone, they could even soothe one's mood and was beneficial to sleep. However, once placed together, over time, it would produce a chronic poison that would make one's body weaker and weaker until death. His gaze fell on the piece of paper again. Looking at the crooked handwriting on it, he was suspicious. Did this little trash see through the strangeness of these two pots of flowers? Or did he just want to please him? Londimeo pondered for a moment, then pointed at the pot of morning glow flowers and said to the guard, "Send this pot of morning glow flowers back to the little girl. Just tell her that I'll keep one pot here." The guard respectfully agreed. He picked up the pot of flowers and turned to leave Londimeo's study. However, he was very confused. This third elder and that cousin lady were really interesting. They even sent two pots of flowers back and forth. Weren't they just idle? He carried the pot of flowers to Yin Chujio's courtyard. Yin Chujio happily accepted the flowers and wrote a note for the guard to bring back to Londimeo. The guard thought to himself, the people of the Chongshao continent communicate with each other using voice transmission talismans. How could they send notes back and forth? However, it was also true. This female cousin had just arrived. It was inevitable that she did not know anything. He thought that since this cousin lady was generous, he might as well sell her something. Thus he said, "Cousin lady, actually, you can ask third elder for one of his voice transmission talismans. That way, it will be more convenient for you to communicate with third elder." Yin Chujio nodded. Voice transmission talismans? It was probably similar to voice transmission talismans. When he had the time, he should ask Old Man Lan for a few of them. Although the guard thought so, he said, "Although the voice transmission talisman is good, some messages are better conveyed through words. Besides, my calligraphy is one of the best. My great-uncle will praise me when he sees it." The guard did not know that the guy in front of him was lying through his teeth. He was embarrassed that he believed him. Yin Chujio said with a smile, "However, thank you for reminding me. How should I address you?" The guard quickly replied, "My name is Zhu Yang." "What a good name. You can go back now. I have high hopes for you," Hei Shinjio said with a smile. How could Zhu Yang know that this guy was ridiculing him in his heart? He thought that she was sincerely praising him. He thought that this cousin lady was actually more approachable than the other young ladies of the Lan mansion. However, in this Lan family that ate people and did not spit out their bones, such a good character probably would not last long. After Zhu Yang returned to Londimeo's courtyard, he handed the note in his hand to Londimeo. After Londimeo opened it, he saw that there were still 8 crooked words on it. "Give flowers to others, and your hands will have a lingering fragrance." Londimeo was stunned. The style of this painting had changed too quickly. The previous note was full of nonsense, but the 8 words on this note were somewhat interesting. When Zhu Yang took his leave, he caught a glimpse of the note that Londimeo had placed on the table. When he saw the crooked handwriting on it, he could not help but stagger, thinking that this handwriting was one of the best. Ugly. Hong Ling and the other two thought, "Yes, you're unwilling to punish the servants. You're just going to chop off their heads." They originally thought that this cousin lady was helpless and weak to be bullied. Now, it looked like she was a devil who killed without batting an eye. However, the Blue Mansion's waters were unusually deep. With her sharp edge exposed, she probably wouldn't be able to go far. Chapter 47:18 Miss Biao sent you something again just as Hong Ling and the other two were thinking about it. They heard Yin Chujio say, "Who sent those 2 pots of flowers?" Hong Ling quickly said, "Miss, one of those 2 pots of flowers was sent by Miss Luo Shan, and the other one was sent by Miss Luo Fong." Yin Chujio glanced at Hong Ling. She was quite tactful and directly addressed her as Miss. Did this mean that she would sincerely treat her as her master from now on? The 2 pots of flowers were given by 2 people. She would naturally not believe that it was unintentional. However, was one of the 2 people harboring evil intentions, or were they birds of a feather? Her eyes flashed and she said, "Throw the corpse at the entrance of my great-uncle's courtyard, and say that you want to give it to him as fertilizer. After all, with fertilizer, the flowers can bloom more brightly." Hong Ling and the other 2 almost fell to the ground in fright. What the hell? Throw the corpse at the entrance of the 3rd elder's courtyard. Was she complaining that they didn't die fast enough? Yin Chujio didn't continue speaking, but looked at them with a faint smile. Hong Ling gritted her teeth. She knew that Yin Chujio was testing them. If they didn't do it, they might not be able to keep their lives. Thus, she put the corpse into her storage ring and said respectfully, "Yes, your servant will do it right away." Lu Luo and Kaiyin quickly nodded in agreement. Yin Chujio looked at Hong Ling meaningfully, then wrote a note and handed it to Hong Ling. "After you throw the corpse on the ground, pass this note to Zhu Yang, and then run back immediately. Otherwise, my great-uncle will vent his anger and kill all of you. Sigh. There aren't many masters like me who are considerate of their subordinates. You don't have to be too grateful to me." Hong Ling and the other 2 were speechless. She was considerate of her subordinates? It was more like she wanted them to die. Soft-hearted and kind-hearted? There was no such thing. This was a devil who ate people without spitting out their bones. Hong Ling and the other 2 could only shiver as they arrived near Lan Dimeo's courtyard. Lu Luo asked in a trembling voice, "Hong Ling, are we really going to do that? If 3rd elder finds out, he definitely won't spare us." Hong Ling laughed bitterly. "If 3rd elder finds out, he won't spare us. But if we don't do it, Miss Zhu will kill us directly." The 3 of them thought about it and agreed. They were really unlucky. How did they end up with such a master? Finally, Hong Ling gritted her teeth and walked a few steps to the entrance of the courtyard. Zhu Yang was stunned when he saw Hong Ling and the other 2. Could it be that Miss Cousin had come to deliver a note again? Just as he was thinking about it, he saw Hong Ling throw out a body with its body and head separated. Then she stuffed him with a note and ran away. Zhu Yang and the other guards were dumbfounded. What did this mean? Zhu Yang looked at the note in his hand and naturally did not dare to open it. He hurriedly ran into Lan Dimeo's study. Lan Dimeo was extremely busy. He had not returned in the past few days, so he had a lot of things to do. "3rd elder, my cousin's maid gave you something." Zhu Yang stuttered. Lan Dimeo frowned. "What did she give you again?" He pursed his lips in his heart. This little girl must be trying to please him. She was too eager to get close to him. Did she think that giving him something would please him? He didn't even care about the things she gave him. Even if he did, the rules of the Lan family were there. He wouldn't help her. Moreover, she wasn't a proper descendant of the Lan family. His goal was only the jade token. He wasn't interested in anything else. Zhu Yang took a deep breath and said, "Miss, this time I sent you a corpse." Chapter 47:19. Capture that evil creature for me. Lan Dimeo thought he heard wrong and asked again, "What did you say she sent me?" Zhu Yang braced himself and said, "Miss Cousin, I sent you a corpse." Lan Dimeo smacked the desk angrily. What did this little trash want to do? It was fine if he sent flowers before, but what did he mean by sending a corpse now? Wait, a corpse? Whose corpse is that? When I went to send flowers to Miss Biao, I saw 4 maids in her courtyard. That corpse should be a rough maid. 3rd elder, could it be that someone else killed that maid and Miss Biao wants you to uphold justice for her? Zhu Yang said. In Zhu Yang's opinion, Miss Biao had a gentle personality and wouldn't do anything to kill her maid. Maybe one of the masters bullied her, so they killed her maid. Lan Dimeo nodded slightly when he heard this. He felt that what he said made sense. That little trash probably wanted him to help make a decision. He was really naive. Lan Dimeo waved his hand when he thought of this and said casually, "Go and dispose of that corpse. This matter ends here." Zhu Yang also felt that the 3rd elder would not interfere in the battle below. He nodded and was about to take his leave when he remembered the note in his hand. He quickly said, "Third elder, the young Miss Maid also gave me a note." Zhu Yang handed the note in his hand to the third elder. A cold smile appeared on the third elder's face. That little trash wouldn't think that he would help her just because she put in a few good words, right? What a fool. Even though he thought so, the third elder still opened the note. On the note, there was still a familiar crooked handwriting. "Great uncle, this maid was disobedient, so I killed her to make fertilizer for you. As the saying goes, a maid is not heartless. Turning into spring mud is more protective of flowers." Third elder could not believe his eyes. What the hell? That maid was killed by that little piece of trash? He killed a maid on the first day he came? So what if he killed her, but she actually sent her to him? Was this a demonstration? Flower fertilizer? And the maid was not a heartless thing. Turning into spring mud was more protective of flowers? He was so angry. Zhu Yang saw third elder's furious look and thought. It seems that third elder said that he did not care about cousin Miss life and death. But in fact he was still concerned. Otherwise, why would he be so angry when he saw someone bullying cousin Miss? Just as he was thinking, he heard the third elder slam the table and shout angrily, "Bring that evil creature here. I must ask for the family law today." Zhu Yang quickly asked, "Third elder, who do you want me to bring here?" Zhu Yang was even more confused now. What? That maid was killed by his cousin? How was that possible? Was there some misunderstanding? How could his cousin kill someone when she was new here? Although Zhu Yang did not believe that Yin Chujio would kill someone, he still rushed to Yin Chujio's courtyard. "Cousin, third elder wants you to go over." Yin Chujio did not say much, and brought Hong Ling out of the courtyard. Zhu Yang could not help but ask, "Miss, did you really kill that maid?" Yin Chujio sighed faintly. "I didn't want to kill her either. But who asked her to be disobedient? Fortunately, the remaining 3 were still obedient. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do it. After all, I'm kind and soft-hearted." Chapter 47. 20 Sharp-tongued Zhu Yang staggered and almost fell to the ground. The image of the gentle-tempered young lady in his mind suddenly collapsed. How was she a gentle and harmless little sheep? She was clearly a wolf in sheep's clothing. She was also kind and soft-hearted? It would be a ghost if he believed her. He shook his head secretly. He was too naive. This person also had the blood of the Lan family. The people of the Lan family were all ruthless. Naturally, this young cousin would not be an exception. However, she had caused such a ruckus when she first arrived. It was obvious that she was reckless. She would suffer a great loss sooner or later. She might even lose her life in a few days. Not to mention that this matter would not end well. Third elder was furious. He might not even punish her. Soon, the 3 of them arrived at third elder's courtyard. Yin Chujio asked Hong Ling to wait outside, while she and Zhu Yang entered Lan Dimeo's study room. As soon as they entered the study room, Yin Chujio sobbed, "Great uncle, I knew that you wouldn't ignore my life and death. You have to make a decision for me." Zhu Yang was dumbfounded. Just a moment ago, this Miss Cousin was still smiling brightly. Why was she crying so miserably now? The speed at which she changed her face was really fast. Lan Dimeo was also a little confused by Hei Xinjia's crying. He snorted coldly. "You killed your maid for no reason, and even sent her body to me to demonstrate your power. How can you still have the face to cry?" "Great uncle, I had no choice. I didn't want to do this." "Who asked her to insult you?" "I accidentally killed her in a moment of anger," Yin Chujio said while crying. Lan Dimeo was stunned. "Insult me? What did she scold me for?" "She called me a little bastard, and you are my great uncle. If I were a little bastard, wouldn't you be an old bastard?" Yin Chujio said angrily. Lan Dimeo slammed the desk angrily. "How dare you?" Hei Xinjiao shrunk her neck. "Great uncle, I didn't say that. It was all said by that maid. Don't you think she deserved to die?" Lan Dimeo was not stupid, so he knew that Yin Chujio was trying to argue with him. He was so angry that he sniffed and said, "You have a sharp tongue. What should you do?" Yin Chujio sniffled and said, "Forget it. I'm just a poor little girl who no one wants. If you want to punish me, just punish me. It's best if you just kill me, so that I can be reunited with my grandmother. Lan Dimeo was so angry that he wanted to strangle Hei Shinjo to death when he saw her crying. However, when he heard her mention Lan Qishan and the jade token, he had to suppress the anger in his heart and said, "Don't cry. It won't happen again. If you make trouble again, I'll have to punish you." Hei Xinjia's tears turned into a smile. "Great uncle, I knew that you loved me the most and wouldn't punish me. Please don't worry, I'll leave first." After saying that, he ran away like a wisp of smoke. Zhu Yang was dumbfounded. He ran away just like that. He just cried after causing such a big trouble. Lan Dimeo felt a headache. He used the lives of the Yi family members to force Yi Yuanliang to leave. Yi Yuanliang said that most of the things left behind by the Lan family had been taken away by Yi Lan, and only one box was given to Yin Chujio. Yi Yuanliang had said that he was afraid of missing the person when he saw the object, so he had only taken a glance at it, and had never opened the box again. As for whether there was a jade tablet inside, he was not sure. Did that little trash know where the jade tablet was? Chapter 47:21 Ancestral Residence. It was not that Lan Dimeo had not thought of using methods to force Yin Chujio, but he was afraid that the jade tablet was in Yi Lan's hands. If Yi Lan could escape in the future, he could force Yi Lan to hand over the jade tablet if he had this little piece of trash in his hands. Therefore, he would not kill Yin Chujio for the time being. Yin Chujio swaggered towards her own courtyard with Hong Ling gritted her teeth, and decided to follow Yin Chujio in the future, when she saw that Yin Chujio did not receive any punishment despite being so evil. The masters of the Lan family's 3 branches soon found out about Yin Chujio's actions. Of course, they did not know the inside story, but they knew about Yin Chujio sending flowers and killing the maid. Everyone had different thoughts, but most of them felt that Yin Chujio was a foolhardy fool who would not be able to survive for more than a few days. However, they didn't make any moves and planned to wait and see. Therefore, for the next 2 days, Yin Chujio's days were relatively peaceful. She used these 2 days to learn a lot about the Lan family and the Chongshao continent from the 3 maids. Only then did Yin Chujio know that apart from the eldest, second and third branches of the Lan family, there was also an ancestral home where the current head of the Lan family, Lan Dimeo's grandfather, lived. It was said that the father of the 3 branches of the Lan family had all died in some great battle, but the head of the Lan family was still alive and kicking until now. However, no one in Lan Dimeo's generation and his son's generation had been chosen by the head of the Lan family, so the current candidate for the young head of the Lan family had to be selected among the young people of Lan Luchen's generation. This old ancestor of the Lan family had rarely shown his face, but no one dared to disobey him in the slightest, because not only was this old ancestor's strength unfathomable, even the people who served him were all experts. The Lan family's ancestral residence had a library and a training ground. Anyone from the Lan family could enter. However, one could enter, but there were different levels. Different levels had different levels of authority. Not to mention a junior like Lan Luochen, even Lan Dimeo could not enter places beyond his level. As for the level, the Lan family had a set of calculation methods. It was nothing more than the results of the competition, contributions to the Lan family and so on. Even if one had an additional child, they would be rewarded with a certain amount of points. This time, Lan Dimeo brought Hei Shinjo back, and he would be rewarded with corresponding points. Yin Chujio squinted her eyes as she listened. This Lan family was managed like a sect, but this also had benefits. It could prevent the younger generation from enjoying themselves and encourage them to continuously become stronger. Yin Chujio decided to go for a stroll in the ancestral residence. Although she did not have any family points now, she could still enter the first level of the library and the lowest level of the cultivation room. Of course, she was not interested in the cultivation room, but the library was very important to her now. Yin Chujio did as she was told. After breakfast that day, she led Hong Ling out of the 3 rooms. After 2 days of observation, Yin Chujio realized that Hong Ling was bolder and more meticulous than Lu Luo. It seemed that she was planning to follow her and take her out for an inspection. Many people were staring at her. As soon as she left the 3 rooms, the news immediately spread to the masters everywhere. However, everyone thought that Yin Chujio had gone out for a stroll. After all, this country bumpkin had just arrived and naturally wanted to see the world. They did not expect Yin Chujio to go to the ancestral residence. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.